fanfics in a nutshell. Before we dive in, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe, because this one flips the entire Hokage timeline on its head. The Fire Daimyo's fingers move slowly through the stack of invasion reports, page after page, as if each one is a blade he's testing for weakness. The council room is packed with clan heads, senior jonin, advisors, and elders who all pretend they're calm while their village still smells like smoke. Danzo sits rigid, cane planted, visible eye unreadable, the bandaged side of his face looking like a secret wrapped in cloth. Across from him, Shikaku Nara leans back with a quiet, dangerous patience, because this is politics, where people smile while deciding who bleeds next. "That's true," Shikaku says, voice smooth, cutting anyway. "Your root Anbu should have stopped them. You should have intervened in Orochimaru's actions, which concerned internal affairs of the Land of Fire. Do you have any explanation for this, Danzo?" Danzo doesn't flinch. "No," he replies evenly. "A practiced lie dressed up as responsibility. I believed in the strength of our Anbu and Jonin forces. I didn't want Orochimaru to know Root still exists. Every clan head in the room understands what he really means. I protected my private army and let the village burn around it." The Fire Daimyo simply raises an eyebrow and keeps reading, because he's not a shinobi, he's a ruler, and rulers don't get impressed by excuses. "Well now," the Daimyo murmurs, setting the reports aside with deliberate finality, "those are pretty strong allegations. And it seems we can't turn Danzo into Hokage. It would cause public outrage if word of your involvement, or your lack of involvement, gets out." Danzo's jaw tightens. His eye flicks towards Shikaku with heat. Shikaku's mouth twitches, just barely, because Danzo being denied is one small justice in a room full of compromises. Homura and Koharu exchange a glance, their relief disguised as stern dignity. They've been waiting for this decision with the kind of tension that only comes when you know the wrong choice could destroy a country. The Fire Daimyo leans forward, elbows on the table, fingers laced. A smirk appears, and it isn't cruel, it's almost amused. "I think I may have an idea of who is to become the next Hokage," he says. Every spine in the room tightens. "It'll be..." And somewhere in the village, far away from power and politics, Naruto Uzumaki sneezes hard enough to bend at the waist. "Achoo!" he blurts, rubbing his nose, blinking at the sky like it insulted him. He's walking down the street toward the training field because training is the only thing that ever made sense. Work hard, get stronger, protect people, prove them wrong. Simple, clean. "Someone must be talking about me," Naruto mutters with a grin, then breaks into a jog, excitement rising because the day feels like it might finally be his. He has no idea the village is already putting a crown on his head. A few hours later, Jiraiya of the Sannin is perched like a shameless predator with a telescope, grinning to himself, enjoying the peace after chaos. The Leaf Village girls, he's decided, are still undefeated in the world's most important category. Then he senses two presences behind him and sighs, because peace never survives in Konoha for long. "Still playing the buffoon, I see," Homura says. Jiraiya chuckles and lowers the telescope like a man caught stealing. "Just doing research," he says, lazy grin in place. "So, old man Homura and Koharu-sensei, what could you two scholarly advisors want with me?" "Don't waste our time," Homura replies. Jiraiya shrugs. "From what I heard, talks with the Sand Village went off without a hitch." "The Sand Village stated publicly that Orochimaru was the cause," Homura says. "They've offered their complete surrender." "That is not what this is about. They explain the rebuilding, the damage, the security, the political balancing act." Jiraiya listens with one ear until Koharu says the phrase that changes his posture completely. "But first," she says, "we need a strong and trustworthy leader." Jiraiya's grin stiffens. "Look," he says fast, "I don't know why you're explaining all this to me. I've got spy networks and agents to run. Hokage isn't my thing." "Don't worry," Homura says bluntly, "we don't want you." Jiraiya nearly falls backward. "Okay, then who and why come to me?" Koharu's eyes narrow. "We came to you because you're close to the one the Fire Lord has chosen, and because this person would rather hear it from a friendly voice than have Anbu drag them into the council chamber." Jiraiya's face shifts. The humor drains away. "Who?" he asks. Homura doesn't hesitate. "Naruto Uzumaki, Namikaze." The name lands like a thunderclap inside Jiraiya's skull. His gaze sharpens, serious in a way most people forget he's capable of. "Naruto," Jiraiya says, voice lower now, protective. "Why Naruto?" Homura speaks like he's reciting truth he finally believes. "Naruto has the personality of the first and second Hokage. Naruto has the upbringing Hashirama did in certain ways. Naruto is like Hyuzen was, fervent believer in the will of fire. Naruto has charisma that changes enemies into allies. Even the Sans Temari called it a unique power." Jiraiya is stunned. Not because Naruto isn't worthy, but because for once the elders aren't talking about Naruto like he's a problem to be managed. They're smiling. Actually smiling. Fine, Jiraiya says, voice tight with a mix of pride and dread. I'll help, but on one condition. And while the elders bargain with him, Naruto is doing what Naruto always does when he's hungry and broke, panicking politely at Ichiraku. He's stripping down his pockets like a desperate thief searching for his ramen ticket. Tucci sighs, amused and tired of this routine. Come on, Naruto, Tucci says, sliding him a fresh steaming bowl anyway. You can have this one on the house. But next time, don't forget your ticket or money. Naruto's face lights up like someone handed him treasure. Thanks, old man Tucci, you're the greatest, Tucci chuckles. Just make ramen the official dish of Konoha when you're Hokage. Naruto laughs with his mouth already full. Sure thing, everyone should know the greatness that is ramen. 5 minutes later, Jiraiya walks in and drops into the seat beside him like it's casual, like he isn't carrying a destiny-changing announcement in his chest. Pervy sage, Naruto says, wiping his mouth. Didn't know you liked ramen. I do, Jiraiya says with a grin, ruffling Naruto's hair like he's still a kid. But not as much as you. In fact, he gestures to Tucci. I'll buy you another bowl, to celebrate. Naruto blinks. Celebrate what? Jiraiya just laughs, too bright, too forced. That's a surprise for later, my apprentice. Naruto shrugs. More ramen matters more than mysteries, and Jiraiya watches him eat with a quiet heaviness in his eyes, like he's seeing Minato and Kushina in Naruto's habits, and it hurts in a way he refuses to name. Later, Naruto is practically dragging Jiraiya up the street, irritated and impatient. Come on, you old pervert hermit, Naruto snaps. What's going on? Jiraiya keeps walking, hands behind his head, smile wide. As a wise sage once said, he replies, all things are revealed in time. Naruto's irritation rises as they reach the Hokage Tower. Anbu guards bow. The air feels heavier inside the walls, as if the building itself remembers every leader who died for this village. Jiraiya stops at a set of guarded doors. All right, he says, voice suddenly steady, we're here. The place where your destiny changes. Naruto frowns. Stop talking like that. The doors open. Naruto steps in and freezes. The council chamber is full. Sensei, clan heads, elders, the Anbu commander, Ibiki, Anko, even the fire daimyo himself, dressed in nobility that doesn't belong in a shinobi room. Naruto's eyes flick across faces quickly, automatically, trying to calculate what kind of trouble he's in and which person here hates him the most. No one looks angry. They look expectant. Naruto forces himself into seriousness instantly because this is not a ramen shop moment. What's going on here? He asks, voice controlled. Choza whispers to Homura, half amused. You were right. He can get serious in a heartbeat. Then the fire daimyo steps forward and speaks like he's issuing an order to the world. Naruto Uzumaki, he says, student of Jiraiya of the Sannin and Kakashi Hatake, the one responsible for defeating the one-tailed Shukaku and foiling Orochimaru's plot. I, Lord of the Land of Fire, appoint you as the Godame Hokage. Naruto's brain stutters. His eyes widen. His mouth opens. The only sound that escapes is the most honest question he has. Why me? The daimyo chuckles and walks closer, ruffling Naruto's hair like Naruto is a nephew instead of a shinobi. Because you have proven you are strong and dependable. You have the will of fire Sarutobi used to speak about. The people in this room have not one bad thing to say about you. You have charisma, strength, the qualities of leadership. Naruto's pulse hammers. He looks around desperately, searching for someone to object, because if no one objects, that means this is real. I still don't see why me, Naruto insists. Why not Kakashi-sensei, or Jiraiya-sensei, or even Shikamaru? The daimyo smiles wider. Each was considered. In the end, you were the best choice, and you want to learn. Naruto's throat tightens. But I'm still a genin. There's no way. Hiyashi Hyuga speaks before Naruto can finish. Voice calm, precise, carrying the weight of a clan behind it. The appointment of a Kage needs not be ranked, Naruto-san, he says. It is discernment that matters. Naruto blinks at Hiyashi. The man is giving him encouragement, subtle but real. That alone feels like the world twisting. The daimyo's gaze returns to Naruto, patient. Will you accept the position? He asks softly. Or should we find another? Naruto's chest burns. His hands tremble slightly, hidden at his sides. The room waits. Naruto thinks of Iruka's hands on his shoulders. He thinks of Haku's voice about precious people. He thinks of the broken streets outside. He thinks of the third Hokage's funeral smoke. He thinks of being hated and still wanting to protect them anyway, because that's what his heart does no matter how many times it gets stepped on. He lifts his head. Fire burns behind his eyes. I accept, Naruto says. The conviction in his voice silences any lingering doubt in the room. Even people who don't like him feel it. The boy means it. Danzo doesn't clap. Danzo just watches. Naruto's life becomes paperwork, sleepless mornings, and people with old eyes trying to measure how easy it will be to bend him. The next day, Naruto sits in the Hokage's office, his office, and it feels unreal in the worst way. The desk is too big. The chair is too heavy. The air smells like responsibility. Shadow clones flood the room, running missions of bureaucracy like they're fighting a war, organizing documents, stacking reports, sorting requests. Homura and Koharu stand like strict tutors, pointing at scrolls and ordering clones around with brisk authority. Naruto, the real Naruto, reads through B rank and higher mission reports and separates them into two piles, success and failure. He's relieved there are only 3 failures among hundreds. Then his secretary steps in, eyes wide, voice careful. Hokage-sama, Danzo-sama is here to see you. Should I send him in? Homura and Koharu stiffen instantly. I don't know why you accepted to meet with him, Koharu snaps. He'll only play for power. Naruto keeps his face calm. There was a man like Danzo once, Naruto says quietly. Zabuza. He believed everyone was a tool. In the end, he learned they weren't. Naruto's gaze sharpens. Danzo and him are alike. I know how to deal with him. Danzo enters like he owns the room. He doesn't bow. He doesn't soften. He walks in with the arrogance of someone who believes he was cheated out of a throne. His visible eye flicks over the clones. Having shadow clones do the work while the real you holds meetings, he says. Impressive. Given the shadow clone's ability to send information back to the original. Naruto's eyes narrow slightly. Danzo knows too much. Naruto hides the reaction under a lazy yawn. Yeah, Naruto says, leaning forward in the Hokage chair like he belongs there. We're working. What do you want, Danzo? Danzo's mouth tightens at the lack of honorific. How do you plan to rebuild the village? He asks, tone polite enough to be insulting. Naruto answers calmly. I've sent a message to Wave. They're sending aid to rebuild. They're also sending an alliance treaty, seeing my signature as Hokage. Danzo's eye almost blinks. Almost. We have not announced your ascension publicly, he says. And what will you do about Orochimaru? Naruto's gaze hardens. We hunt him, Naruto says simply. But we don't leave the village undefended while we do it. Danzo leans slightly closer. And what of the Kyuubi? He asks, voice like a hook. What of the village's greatest asset and greatest liability? Homura shifts, anger rising. Koharu's eyes sharpen. Naruto doesn't flinch. I am Hokage, Naruto says, voice flat. Not an asset. Danzo's eye narrows. Titles do not change reality, he says. Naruto's smile is thin. Reality is, Naruto replies, you're sitting in my office. Danzo's cane taps once. You are young, he says, inexperienced. You will need guidance. Naruto's eyes turn colder. From you? He asks. Danzo's mouth twitches. From those who understand war, he says. Naruto leans forward, voice sharpening. You understand control, Naruto says. Not war. Danzo's aura stiffens. Mind your tone, he warns softly. Naruto stands. The movement is simple, but it shifts the room's gravity. Clones freeze mid-task. Homura and Koharu tense, ready for a political explosion. Naruto walks around the desk slowly until he stands directly in front of Danzo. He's shorter, younger, but his eyes don't move. You want to test me? Naruto says quietly. Fine. Danzo's visible eye narrows. What are you doing? He asks. Naruto steps in and headbutts him. It's not a childish tantrum, it's a statement. A blunt physical punctuation that says, I'm not afraid of you, I won't bow, I won't be handled. Danzo stumbles back half a step, shock flickering across his face for the first time. Homura inhales sharply, Koharu's eyes widen, Naruto's voice stays calm. This is my village, he says, my office, my chair. You can advise, or you can leave. But you will not treat me like a puppet. Danzo's jaw tightens. His eye burns. He wants to retaliate. He wants to break this boy in front of witnesses. Instead, he forces a thin smile. Bold, he murmurs. Very bold. We'll see how long boldness lasts. Naruto meets the threat without blinking. As long as it needs to, he says. Danzo turns and leaves without another word, his cane tapping like a promise of future trouble. Naruto watches him go, breathing steady, refusing to let his hands shake. Koharu exhales, half furious, half impressed. That was reckless, she snaps. Naruto's eyes stay on the door. It was necessary, he replies. Homura studies Naruto for a long moment, then nods slightly. You may be young, he says, but you are not weak. Naruto doesn't answer. He goes back to work, because being Hokage doesn't pause for adrenaline, and the village keeps testing him. Not long after, Naruto finds himself in the Hyuga compound because leadership isn't just missions and council chambers. It's clan politics, wounded pride, and relationships that can shatter the village if mishandled. Hiyashi speaks with him privately, guarded but respectful, and Naruto understands something that makes his stomach twist. Konoha isn't just rebuilding buildings, it's rebuilding trust. Hinata appears during the visit, shy and tense, and Naruto's presence hits her like a sudden storm. She tries to speak. Her face turns red, her voice fails. She faints. Hanabi explodes in anger, shouting like a younger sister defending her pride, and Hiyashi moves with terrifying calm. One precise touch, one pressure point, and Hanabi drops unconscious mid-rant. Naruto stares, half stunned. Hyuga family bonding, he mutters, and Hiyashi's mouth twitches like he almost smiles. Naruto is about to make a clone to carry Hinata somewhere safe when the air shifts. Anbu. A masked shinobi appears outside the room, posture rigid, urgency pouring off him. Hiyashi's eyes sharpen instantly. He seals the room with practice motions, locking privacy in place like a vault door. Hokage-sama, the Anbu says, kneeling. Urgent news from Anbu Patrol, 5. Naruto's expression turns into something colder. He's starting to understand what it means to wear this title. Your heart doesn't get to be fragile anymore. Report, Naruto orders. The Anbu lifts his head, bird mask glinting. Patrol 5 was alerted by Might Guy, he says. He has spotted Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki by the river that runs through Konoha. The room goes still. Naruto's blood turns to ice. Itachi, Kisame, inside his village, not at the gate, not hiding, walking near the river like they belong here. The Anbu waits. What are your orders, sir? Naruto's jaw tightens. His mind snaps into motion. This isn't just an attack. This is a message. A test. A warning that enemies can walk through his home whenever they want. Naruto's eyes harden. Bird, Naruto says, voice steady, I want you and Boar Squad to assist any ninja attempting to apprehend them. If Guy spotted them taking a casual stroll through my village, then chances are Jonin like Kakashi-sensei will already be moving. The Anbu vanishes in a blur. Naruto stands, already making clones to handle what he's leaving behind. Hiyashi watches him with a faint smirk, admiration hidden in the strict lines of his face. You're smarter and better at this than your reports and grades ever suggested, Hiyashi says. Naruto's mouth tightens into a grim little smile. What can I say, he replies. Grades and reports aren't everything. He turns toward the door, cloak already shifting on his shoulders, and the air outside suddenly feels too big, too quiet, like the village is holding its breath. Because somewhere by the river, the man who slaughtered the Uchiha is walking through Konoha. And Naruto new Hokage, still bleeding from yesterday's choices, has to decide what kind of leader he's going to be when the past comes back with teeth. The river looks harmless in the morning light, water sliding over stones like nothing in the world has ever bled here. That illusion dies the moment Naruto arrives and feels the chakra in the air. Itachi, Uchiha, stands near the bank, cloak marked with red clouds, posture calm like he's waiting for rain. Kisame Hoshigaki lingers a few steps away with that massive wrapped blade on his shoulder, grinning like the village is a buffet. Across from them, Kakashi is already on one knee, breathing hard, Sharingan bared, his visible eye narrowed with strain. Might Guy is planted beside him, legs coiled, ready to explode forward again. Around them, a few Jonin hover on the edge, uncertain because the pressure rolling off these two missing nin isn't normal. It's the kind of pressure that makes even veterans remember what fear tastes like. Itachi's gaze flicks to Kakashi's Sharingan, and something in his expression turns colder. Kakashi knows too much. Kakashi always knows too much. Naruto sees it in the way Kakashi's shoulders tense, like he can feel what's coming. Itachi doesn't want to do it, not because he's merciful, because his body is already burning out. Naruto can see it even without medical eyes. The slight heaviness in Itachi's blink, the way his breath is measured like he's rationing chakra. But Kakashi pushes forward anyway, and Itachi's decision hardens into inevitability. Kisame shifts his grip on his sword, amused. You Leaf guys are really persistent, he says, voice thick with mockery. I almost respect it. Guy answers with motion instead of words. He darts forward with a spinning kick that whistles through the air like a whip. Severe Leaf Hurricane. His heel slams into Kisame's side with explosive speed, sending the Sharkman skidding back in a spray of dirt and water. Kisame laughs even as he slides, teeth bared, clearly enjoying himself. Naruto arrives in the middle of it like a storm finding a target. Jiraiya lands beside Guy with a grin that's too sharp for humor. Hayashi Hyuga touches down like a knife in human form, eyes already pale and focused. Naruto doesn't waste time on speeches. He doesn't waste time on dramatic declarations. His hands snap through signs, and the bank floods with him. 100 shadow clones burst into existence in a ring, surrounding the two intruders with the kind of overwhelming presence that used to look reckless when Naruto was a genin. Now, it looks like a tactic. Itachi's eyes widen a fraction. Kisame's grin falters for the first time. Hayashi moves first. He blurs forward, gentle fists striking with surgical precision, and Itachi reacts with instinctive grace-ducking, pivoting, slipping between clones that lunge at him from every side. But Naruto sees it. Itachi's timing is off. His eyes track slower than they should. His body is half a step behind his mind. The man is dangerous, but he's not at full strength. Hayashi's palms land. 1 strike, 2, 3. Each one cuts something invisible. Chakra pathways, control points, the machinery that lets a shinobi turn will into violence. Itachi tries to twist away, tries to counter, but the clones are there, constantly forcing him to move, constantly stealing options. A hand closes around Itachi's wrist for half a second. Another clone clips his shoulder. Hayashi's palm slams into the back of Itachi's knee. Itachi's leg goes dead. Then, the other leg. For a heartbeat, Itachi is still standing purely on pride and balance. Then Hayashi's fingers touch Itachi's torso in a flurry of controlled strikes, and Itachi's entire body locks like a puppet with its strings cut. He falls. Not gracefully. Not dramatically. He drops into the dirt by the river, eyes open, rage contained behind a calm face that refuses to give anyone the satisfaction of panic. Kisame sees it and swears, grin completely gone now. He roars and charges with Samahata raised, trying to carve a path through Naruto's clones like a shark tearing through fish. It doesn't work. Every swing of that sword meets a clone that takes the impact and vanishes in smoke. Kisame tries to adapt, tries to move faster, tries to break the swarm with brute force, but Jiraiya and Hayashi are on him now too. Jiraiya's movements are deceptively lazy until the moment they aren't, and Kisame realizes too late that the Sannin is cutting off his angles, pushing him exactly where Hayashi wants him. Hayashi's palms strike Kisame's shoulder, then his elbow, then his wrist. Kisame's sword arm goes numb. He tries to switch grips, tries to brute his way through, but another strike lands at his ribs, and his breath explodes out of him. Another palm hits his thigh, and his leg buckles. Naruto's clones swarm in, hands grabbing, bodies piling, forcing Kisame's balance to collapse under sheer pressure. Kisame's mouth opens in a snarl. Then he takes one more gentle fist strike to the neck, and his eyes roll back. Silence falls over the river in stunned fragments. 10 minutes ago, the village had 2 S-class nightmares walking through its heart like they owned it. Now they're unconscious on the ground, disabled, bound, and surrounded by leaf shinobi who look like they don't quite believe what just happened. Guy exhales, sweat streaking down his face. Kakashi sways on his knee, gaze still fixed on Itachi, like he's waiting for the illusion to break and the real danger to begin. Naruto steps closer to Kakashi first. "Kakashi-sensei," Naruto says quietly. Kakashi's visible eye flicks to him, exhausted but alert. "Hokage," Kakashi murmurs, and there's something strange in hearing that word pointed at Naruto. It lands heavier than any title should. Naruto's eyes narrow as he studies Kakashi's face. Kakashi looks wrong. He looks like someone who has been dragged through something mental, something sharp. Naruto can feel it in the tightness around Kakashi's eye, the way his chakra feels frayed, like thread pulled too hard. "You're hurt," Naruto says. Kakashi tries to brush it off with a faint shrug. "Just tired," he says. Naruto knows that lie. He used to tell it all the time to hide bruises. Naruto turns to the A and BU who arrive in the next heartbeat, masks glinting. "Take them," Naruto orders, gesturing to Itachi and Kisame. "Bind them properly. Not sloppy, not proud, properly." The A and BU snap into motion. Jiraiya leans closer, voice low. "You just changed the entire timeline," he murmurs, half amused, half unsettled. Naruto doesn't smile. "Good," he replies, "because the old one keeps killing people. They move fast after that. The river becomes a secured zone. Civilians are pushed back. Reports go out like arrows. Itachi and Kisame are transported under heavy guard, and Kakashi is practically carried by medics toward the hospital, even as he tries to insist he can walk. Naruto watches Kakashi disappear down the street, and something hard settles in his chest. This isn't just a fight, it's a warning. Enemies can breach the village. And some of those enemies know secrets that could rip Konoha apart from the inside. By the time Naruto reaches the council chambers again, the room feels different than yesterday. It feels like a room full of people who have just seen a boy do something they didn't know was possible. Itachi sits at the far end of the table under seal restraints, posture straight despite being disabled earlier. Kisame is locked down elsewhere, unconscious and secured, because Naruto refuses to put two monsters in the same room and pretend that's safe. An interrogator stands in the corner like a shadow that breathes. Clan heads and advisors fill the seats, tension thick enough to taste. Naruto sits at the head of the table, hands folded, face calm, eyes cold. Itachi's gaze lifts to him. There's no pleading in it, no apology. Just that same unreadable calm that makes people hate him because they can't punish him emotionally. Naruto speaks first. "So," he says quietly, "that's it, huh?" Itachi doesn't flinch. He gives a slight nod. Naruto leans back, rubbing his temples like the world is too loud. He's been fed a story his whole childhood. Itachi massacred his clan for power. That he was insane. That the Uchiha were betrayed by one of their own. Simple. Convenient. Clean. Naruto hates clean stories now. "Explain," Naruto commands. Homura stands with the rigidity of a man who knows he's standing on a cliff edge. "Hokage-sama," he says, "the Uchiha were preparing a revolt, a coup. If they had acted, the village would have faced civil war. We needed someone inside the clan, someone completely loyal to the village." His voice tightens. Itachi was the only perfect choice. Naruto's eyes don't blink. "So you ruined the life of one good person," Naruto says, voice rising slightly, "because my predecessor allowed rot to spread?" He leans forward. "You ruined Itachi's life because he was willing to kill his family?" His jaw tightens, anger sharpening into something vicious. "Are you three morons?" The elders flinch. The entire room tightens. Even people who despise Naruto's impulsiveness feel the weight behind his fury. This isn't a tantrum, this is judgment. Naruto's gaze locks on Itachi. "You killed your clan," he says, voice low. "And you did it under orders?" Itachi's face doesn't change. "Yes," he replies. Naruto's chest burns. He wants to hate Itachi. He wants to forgive him. He wants to rip the village's old secrets out by the roots. All at once. But Hokage doesn't get to do all at once. Hokage does what keeps people alive. Naruto forces his voice into control. "Tell me what you know about Akatsuki," he says. Inoichi steps in, voice careful. "Akatsuki," he repeats, as if even the name tastes wrong. Itachi closes his eyes briefly, then answers in that monotone that makes everything sound like a report instead of a confession. "Akatsuki is a criminal organization of S-class missing, nin," he says. "Their objective is to collect all tailed beasts." A murmur rips through the chamber. Shock. Fear. Some clan heads stiffen. Some look at Naruto like they're remembering what he contains. Naruto doesn't flinch. Itachi continues, listing names like he's reading a death roster. Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, Hidan, Kakuzu, Konan, Nagato, Zetsu, and then he says the last one like dropping a stone into still water. "Madara Uchiha," Itachi says. "The real leader." The room reacts like it's been slapped. Koharu's mouth falls open before she catches herself. "Impossible," she whispers. "He should be dead of old age by now." Naruto's voice is flat. "In the shinobi world," he says, "we expect the unexpected." Itachi's gaze shifts toward Naruto. "You should also know," he says, "that Madara was responsible for the Nine Tails attack on the day of your birth." For a split second, Naruto's expression cracks. Shock flashes through. Then his jaw tightens, and the crack seals shut like a wound stitched closed. He doesn't let anyone see how hard that hits. He pushes it aside deliberately. Later. He can bleed later. Right now, he has to keep the room from panicking. Naruto steadies his breath. "We can't fix everything today," he says, voice controlled, "but we can fix what's killing us first." He turns slightly toward the medics and advisors. "Kakashi is down," Naruto says. "Mental strain. Severe. Our hospital can't heal him." The words cut through the chamber like a blade. Some jonin stiffen. Kakashi is more than a shinobi, he's a pillar. Naruto's eyes narrow. "We need a healer," he says, "someone beyond what our current staff can handle." Jiraiya's grin appears, wide and shameless, like he's been waiting for this exact moment. "If it's a healer you need," he says, "look no further, because I know the perfect one." Naruto glances at him, suspicious. "And that would be?" Jiraiya's voice lifts like a performer revealing the twist. "Tsunade Senju," he declares, "the Slug Princess, the greatest medic in the world." Koharu stiffens. "She hasn't returned in years," she snaps. "She said she'd never come back." Naruto's gaze turns cold. "I don't care what she said," he replies. "She will." The certainty in Naruto's voice silences the objections. It's not arrogance, it's necessity. It's the voice of someone who has decided the village doesn't get to lose more people just because someone ran from responsibility. Plans form fast after that. Itachi is not treated like a hero. He's treated like a dangerous asset kept under strict watch, ordered to provide intelligence, and warned that any betrayal ends with a blade. Naruto's tone makes it clear he's not playing. Itachi accepts without argument, because Itachi understands the language of duty, even when duty is cruel. Then the elders raise the obvious issue, trying to poke holes in Naruto's plan. If you leave the village, Homura says, who governs? The village cannot be without Hokage. Jiraiya answers before Naruto can. Nothing gets past you old fossils, he says with a smirk. There's a way. He proposes a blood clone stronger than a normal shadow clone, able to act independently, able to maintain the Hokage's duties, while the real Naruto travels and trains. The room hesitates, but even Danzo, watching quietly, evaluating every angle, leans forward slightly, interest sharpening. Danzo speaks like he's tasting opportunity. He explains what the technique could mean. The clone could do paperwork, attend meetings, enforce policy, even use shadow clones of its own. Information would return to Naruto. Learning could accelerate. The Hokage could move and still rule. For once, Danzo's support isn't a trap in the open. It's a trap in the future. Naruto feels it instinctively, but he accepts the tactic anyway because he needs it. He needs every advantage. Naruto ends the meeting with clean authority, assigning temporary stability measures, telling the clans what will happen next, promising truth without promising comfort. He refuses to announce promotions or hold ceremonies while Kakashi lies broken in a hospital bed. That decision alone earns him quiet respect from shinobi who are sick of leaders smiling while people suffer. And then Naruto leaves the chamber because the village doesn't pause. It keeps demanding choices. Outside the tower, under the open sky that suddenly feels too bright, Jiraiya pulls Naruto toward the front gate and begins teaching him the technique that will let him be in two places at once. Naruto listens hard. He doesn't joke. He doesn't complain. He learns like someone starving. The first attempt is clumsy. The second attempt is better. Then the jutsu stabilizes, and a second Naruto stands in front of him, solid, real-looking, eyes sharp with the same stubborn spark. The clone cracks its neck like it's waking up. So I'm the paperwork guy, it mutters, then glares at Naruto like the original is the lucky one. Naruto smirks. You know what to do, he says. The clone nods, then jumps to the rooftops without hesitation, already moving toward the tower to sit in the Hokage chair like it belongs there. Jiraiya watches it go, then looks back at Naruto, expression softer than usual. You ready to head out? He asks. Naruto's grin flashes brief, fierce, and real. Yeah, he says, I'm ready. Jiraiya turns, cloak shifting, and they step beyond the gate together. No parade, no cheering crowds. Just a master and his apprentice leaving their home because someone they love is dying, and the only person who can save him is a woman who ran from the village years ago. Once per part, one mid-roll re-engagement line. If you're watching fanfics in a nutshell, stay locked in, because the next stop isn't a battlefield, it's a broken legend who doesn't want to be saved. The road stretches out in front of them, long and dusty, lined with trees that whisper in the wind. Naruto walks with his hands in his pockets, but his shoulders are tense. He can feel the village behind him like a weight. He can feel enemies ahead like a shadow. He can feel his clone sitting in his office, wearing his face, making decisions that will shape lives. Jiraiya glances at him sideways. You're thinking too loud, he says. Naruto exhales. Kakashi, he admits. Jiraiya nods once. We'll get her, he says. Naruto's eyes harden. We have to, he replies. And somewhere far behind them, Konoha begins to whisper a new rumor into its streets. That the fifth Hokage left the village the day after taking the hat, chasing the slug princess like a man chasing a miracle. The first thing Naruto learns about the road is that it doesn't care who you are. Hokage, Jinchuriki, hero, none of it matters to dust and wind and hunger. The sun burns the same. The nights get cold the same. And every village they pass through has its own scars, its own rumors, its own people watching Naruto like they're trying to decide if he's a savior or a disaster wearing a headband. Jiraiya keeps the pace brutal. No lounging. No detours. They move like Kakashi's life is a timer counting down in Naruto's chest. This way, Jiraiya says, following a trail of gossip like it's a scent. Tanzaku Town. If Tsunade is anywhere, she's there. Naruto's jaw tightens. He's heard the stories. Tsunade the gambler. Tsunade the drunk. Tsunade the genius who saved thousands and then vanished when the world stopped being fair. Naruto doesn't understand running. Not emotionally, not yet. He understands standing your ground until your legs give out. They reach Tanzaku at dusk, and the town greets them with noise and neon, with the smell of cheap alcohol and expensive desperation. Gambling houses glow like lanterns, pulling men inside with false promises. Merchants hawk charms and medicines and fake snake oil. Naruto's senses tighten because this place feels like trouble. Then he sees the crater. The central castle that should dominate the skyline is gone. A jagged hole yawns where stone towers once stood. Rubble is scattered like broken teeth. People gather around it in panic clusters, shouting over each other. Naruto stops, staring. What happened? Jiraiya's face darkens. Orochimaru, he says simply. Naruto's spine stiffens. He was here, Naruto mutters. Still might be, Jiraiya replies. Naruto's hands clench. Every time Orochimaru moves, Konoha bleeds. Every time the snake breathes, someone loses something they can't get back. They move through the streets cautiously, blending in as best as a blonde kid with an aura of power can. Naruto keeps his cloak up. Jiraiya keeps his grin in place like a mask. ANBU shadows trail behind, far enough not to spook civilians but close enough to strike if something jumps out. Naruto feels it before he sees it, that slick, cold chakra that makes your skin crawl. He grabs Jiraiya's sleeve and pulls him into an alley. Jiraiya's grin fades instantly. You feel him too, he murmurs. Naruto nods, eyes narrowing, peering through a narrow gap between buildings. In a small courtyard, Orochimaru stands like he's in his own garden, pale face calm, smile thin. Kabuto stands at his side, glasses reflecting the fading light. In front of them are two women. One is Shizune. Naruto recognizes her from descriptions, nervous but resolute, hands hovering near medic tools. The other is Tsunade. Naruto's breath catches. Tsunade isn't broken looking. She isn't old. She looks powerful, confident, almost bored. Her chakra is dense and heavy, like a mountain pressing into the air. Even in casual posture, she feels like she could punch the world apart. Orochimaru speaks softly, and Naruto can't hear every word, but he can read the shape of it. Persuasion, temptation, the snake offering something sweet. Shizune looks tense, ready to intervene. Tsunade looks unimpressed. Then Orochimaru's gaze flicks toward the alley, toward Naruto's hiding place, and Naruto's blood freezes for a split second. The snake's eyes narrow as if he senses prey. Jiraiya tenses, ready to strike. But Orochimaru's smile widens slightly, and he turns away like he's decided not to play yet. He speaks one last line to Tsunade, then steps back, Kabuto following, and they vanish into shadows like they were never there. Naruto exhales, breath shaky. What was that? He whispers. Jiraiya's voice is low. A warning, he says. And a move. He wants Tsunade. Naruto's eyes harden. Not happening, he snaps. Jiraiya puts a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Careful, he murmurs. Orochimaru doesn't lose interest, he just delays. Naruto nods once, swallowing his rage. Where is she staying? He asks. Jiraiya's grin returns, but it's colder now. Follow the noise, he says. They find Tsunade where she belongs, inside a gambling hall full of smoke and laughter that sounds forced. She's at a table, bottle near her elbow, cards in hand, expression lazy like the world is beneath her. Shizune sits nearby, tense, watching the room like she's expecting an ambush. A small pig with a ribbon, Tantan, rests near Tsunade's feet. Jiraiya walks up like he owns the place. Tsunade, he says brightly, long time. Tsunade looks up slowly, eyes narrowing. Jiraiya, she says, voice dripping with disdain. Still alive? What a tragedy. Jiraiya laughs like that doesn't sting. You wound me, he says. We need to talk. Tsunade's gaze flicks to Naruto and lingers. And you brought a brat, she says. Naruto's jaw tightens. I'm not. Jiraiya lifts a hand, warning Naruto silently. He turns back to Tsunade. We need you to come back to Konoha, he says. Tsunade's laugh is short and ugly. No, she replies. Jiraiya's smile doesn't break. Kakashi is dying, he says bluntly. Genjutsu strain. We don't have someone who can fix him. For a split second, Tsunade's eyes flicker. Kakashi is a name she knows. Then her face hardens again. Not my problem, she says. Naruto's fists clench. The anger rises, hot and immediate. Kakashi saved his life 100 times in ways Naruto didn't understand until now. And this woman, this legendary medic, sits here like a corpse means nothing. Jiraiya continues, voice steady, trying to coax. He talks about the village's needs, about rebuilding, about responsibility. Tsunade waves him off like he's a salesman. I left, she says. I'm not coming back. Naruto steps forward, unable to hold it in anymore. People are suffering, he snaps. And you're hiding here drinking. Tsunade's eyes narrow sharply. Hiding? She repeats. You don't know what hiding is, boy. Naruto's voice turns colder. I know what duty is, he says. And I know what it looks like when someone runs from it. The room goes quiet around them. Shizune stiffens, eyes wide. Jiraiya swears under his breath. Because Naruto just did the one thing you don't do to Tsunade. Corner her pride. Tsunade rises slowly from her seat, the air around her thickening. She steps toward Naruto, towering over him in presence even if she isn't physically taller. You think you can talk to me about loss? She asks, voice low. You think you can talk to me about pain? Naruto meets her gaze without blinking. I think you're wasting your power, he says. and I think Konoha deserves better than your excuses. Tsunade's smile turns sharp and cruel. You're arrogant, she says, just like him. Naruto's breath catches. Like who? He demands. Tsunade's eyes narrow. Minato, she says, and the name hits Naruto like a slap he didn't see coming. Naruto's blood goes cold. Don't say that name, he snarls. Tsunade's grin widens. Oh? She says. So you do have teeth. Naruto's jaw tightens because something in his chest twists at the mention of Minato, a name that feels like a ghost he's never been allowed to touch. Tsunade takes another sip of her drink, then sets the bottle down with a clink. Fine, she says. Let's settle this with something you brats understand. Naruto's eyes narrow. What? A bet, Tsunade says, lifting her necklace slightly. The old, heavy pendant that catches the light. If you win, I'll give you this. Shizune's eyes widen in alarm. Tsunade-sama. Tsunade ignores her. But if you lose, she continues, gaze sharp, you'll stop wasting my time. Naruto's jaw clenches. Win what? He asks. Tsunade raises one finger, smirking. I can beat you, she says. With just one finger. The insult burns. It's designed too. It's a deliberate attempt to reduce Naruto to a child again. Naruto's fists tighten. He glances at Jiraiya, who looks like he wants to drag Naruto out of this place by the collar. But Naruto can't back down. Not because of pride. Because Tsunade won't listen unless she respects him, and respect is earned in the language she speaks, strength. Fine, Naruto says. One finger. Tsunade's smirk widens. Good, she says. Then let's stop talking. They move outside into the open street near the gambling hall. Night air bites. Lantern light flickers. A few onlookers gather, curious, whispering. Naruto rolls his shoulders and breathes once, slow. He doesn't rush. He doesn't shout. He draws on a calm he's only recently learned, the calm of someone who knows he doesn't get to be reckless anymore. A single petal drifts down from nowhere and lands on his palm. Tsunade's eyes narrow. Naruto's chakra threads into the petal, and it transforms, steel unfolding like a secret, into a katana in his hand. The blade gleams under lantern light, elegant and sharp. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Tsunade's smirk falters for half a second, then returns. Cute trick, she says. Naruto moves first. He closes distance fast, blade angled not to kill but to pressure. Tsunade doesn't dodge like a normal person. She barely moves, then flicks her finger. The impact hits Naruto like invisible thunder. His vision stutters. His coordination slips for a heartbeat. His feet leave the ground, and he's thrown backward, landing hard enough to scrape earth from the street. Naruto's breath catches. His skull feels like it was tapped from the inside. He recognizes it quickly. Medical chakra disruption, nervous system interference. He forces himself to breathe. He stabilizes his brainwave flow the way he's seen medics do. Rough, imperfect, but enough. His vision clears. Tsunade's eyes narrow in surprise. You countered, she mutters. Naruto doesn't answer. He shifts tactics. The katana dissolves into petals again, cherry blossoms swirling around him like a storm. They aren't harmless. Each petal carries a thin edge of chakra, designed to cut air and force movement. Tsunade lifts her finger again. Naruto steps in hard, pushing the petal storm toward her face like a curtain. Tsunade flicks her finger through it, scattering petals with raw force. But one petal slips past. It grazes Tsunade's cheek, a tiny cut, a thin line of blood. For a heartbeat, Tsunade doesn't move. Then, her face drains of color so fast it's terrifying. Her breath stutters. Her eyes go wide, not in anger, pure fear. Her hands tremble violently. She drops to her knees like her legs forgot how to function. Blood, she whispers. Shizune rushes forward instantly, kneeling beside her, trying to steady her. Tsunade-sama, breathe. Naruto stands frozen, the petals dissolving into nothing around him. His anger evaporates into cold realization. This is her weakness, not losing. Blood. Naruto's mouth tightens with disappointment and something like pity he doesn't want to feel. He wanted a legend. He found a wound. He turns away, voice controlled but harsh. It seems this battle was a waste, Naruto says, and I really wanted true experience. Shizune looks up at him, eyes wide, torn between anger and desperation. Tsunade can't even lift her head. Naruto walks away before he can soften. He can't fix her trauma in the street. He can't afford to. Back at the inn, Naruto sits on the edge of his bed, elbows on knees, staring at his hands like they don't belong to him. He's Hokage. He fought S-class threats. And he just watched the greatest medic in the world crumble from a drop of blood. A soft knock. Naruto's voice is flat. Come in. Shizune steps inside, clutching medical books and scrolls like shields. Her posture is nervous, but her eyes are sharp with intent. Naruto blinks. Shizune, he says, why are you here? Shizune hesitates, then speaks quietly. You stabilized your nervous system, she says. When Tsunade-sama disrupted it, she swallows. Most jonin don't recognize that technique. Naruto's mouth tightens. I can't afford to not recognize things, he says. Shizune studies him, then opens her books. If you're going to drag Tsunade-sama back, she says, voice firm despite her nerves, you need to understand what you're dealing with. Naruto gestures to the desk. Teach, he says, and Shizune does. She explains medical chakra basics, precision control, nervous system disruption, stabilization techniques. Naruto listens like his life depends on it because Kakashi's does. He forms shadow clones. Shizune's eyes widen in shock, then her expression turns fierce. Fine, she snaps. If you have that kind of chakra, we're not wasting time. Drill until you can do this blind. Night deepens. The in-room fills with clones practicing pulse detection, chakra threading, anatomical memorization. Naruto absorbs the feedback in painful waves as clones dispel, learning faster than anyone expects. Shizune pauses at one point, watching Naruto's face. Why are you doing this? She asks quietly. Most people with your power wouldn't bother. Naruto's voice is low. Because my people are breaking, he says, and I can't protect them if I don't understand how to put them back together. Shizune's eyes soften, grief flickering. Tsunade-sama used to say something like that, she whispers. Naruto's gaze hardens. Then she can say it again, he replies. Back in Konoha. Outside, the night feels too still. And Naruto doesn't realize yet that Orochimaru is watching the town like a patient predator, waiting for the moment Tsunade's fear becomes his leverage. Because the next time the snake appears, he won't offer threats, he'll offer a miracle. And Tsunade's heart still bleeding from ghosts will be forced to choose. Morning in Tanzaku town arrives with a kind of brightness that feels insulting. The streets wake up loud. Merchants shout. Gamblers stumble out of halls with hollow eyes. Someone laughs too hard at something that isn't funny. And inside the inn, Naruto's shadow clones collapse into smoke one after another, flooding his mind with a night's worth of medical drills like a tidal wave. He grips the edge of the desk, knuckles whitening, riding out the feedback until the room stops tilting. Shizune watches him carefully, impressed and uneasy at the same time. You shouldn't do that too much, she says. You'll burn your nervous system out. Naruto exhales through his nose, rubbing his temples. If I burn out, he replies, at least I'll burn out moving forward. Shizune hesitates, then speaks with quiet urgency. Tsunade-sama isn't just afraid of blood, she says. She's afraid of what blood means to her. Naruto's eyes lift. Loss, he says. Shizune nods. It's not rational, she admits, but it's real. And when it hits, she can't stop it. Naruto stares at his hands. He's used to fear. He's used to panic. He's used to fighting through pain. What he's not used to is a legendary medic collapsing under the very thing she's supposed to master. He doesn't say what he's thinking, that legends are just people with scars the world doesn't see, because saying it out loud makes it softer, and Naruto can't afford softness right now. A knock hits the door hard enough to rattle the frame. Jiraiya steps in without waiting, expression sharp. We've got movement, he says. Naruto's head snaps up. Orochimaru, Naruto says. Jiraiya nods once. Not in the open, he replies. But his scent is all over this place. He's circling. Naruto stands instantly. His clones are gone now. His head still aches. He doesn't care. Where's Tsunade? He asks. Shizune answers quietly. Still asleep, she says. Then corrects herself with a grim little exhale. Or pretending to be. Naruto's jaw tightens. We don't have time, he mutters. Jiraiya holds up a hand. We do this smart, he says. If Orochimaru wants her, he's going to offer something she can't ignore. Naruto's eyes narrow. Like what? Jiraiya's voice drops. Resurrection, he says. Naruto's stomach turns cold. He doesn't need names. He already knows Tsunade's dead are the kind of ghosts that still have claws. Jiraiya continues, blunt. Dan, Nawaki. He'll dangle them like bait. Naruto's chest tightens. He can't, Naruto says. That's impossible. Jiraiya's eyes harden. Orochimaru makes impossible things happen, he says. Not always clean, not always real, but enough to break people. Naruto clenches his fists. Then we don't let him near her, he says. Shizune steps forward quickly. If you corner Tsunade-sama, she warns, you'll push her into his arms. She won't choose Konoha out of anger, she'll choose escape. Naruto's eyes flash. So what do we do? He asks. Shizune swallows. You make her choose Konoha for a reason, she says. Not because you demanded it, not because you want to fight, because she believes it matters again. Naruto's jaw tightens. People are dying, he says. That should matter. Shizune's voice is small. It does, she says. But she doesn't believe she can save them anymore. She believes she'll just watch them die again. Naruto breathes slowly, forcing his anger into something usable. Then we change what she believes, he says. Jiraiya studies him with a flicker of pride. That's the right direction, he says. Now we just need the right moment. The right moment arrives faster than any of them want. A messenger runs into the inn lobby like he's being chased by death, shouting for Shizune by name. Shizune's eyes widen. She rushes down the stairs. Naruto and Jiraiya follow, tension tightening with every step. The messenger points toward the outskirts of town. They're fighting, he gasps. A pale man, snakes. People are screaming. Naruto's blood turns to ice. They move, no hesitation, no careful walking. Naruto bursts into the street at a run. Jiraiya beside him, Shizune trailing hard. They cut through alleys and crowds, ignoring startled looks, ignoring shouted questions. The town's edge comes into view, and with it, chaos. A small plaza near a scroll shop is torn apart. Wood splinters, dust hangs thick. Civilians scatter, some injured, some terrified. And at the center of it all, Orochimaru. He stands like a calm disease, pale hair drifting in the breeze, eyes gleaming with the kind of amusement that makes Naruto want to tear his throat out. Kabuto is with him, hands glowing faintly with medical chakra, posture polite as always, like this is all normal. And Tsunade stands opposite them, feet planted, shoulders tense, eyes furious. Shizune's breath catches. Tsunade-sama. Naruto's eyes narrow, scanning for traps. He senses them instantly. Snakes in the shadows, hidden seals on the ground, a web of control spread across the plaza like invisible threads. Orochimaru didn't stumble into Tsunade. He staged this. Orochimaru's voice carries smoothly through the dust. I'm giving you one more chance, he says. You can keep drinking yourself into oblivion, or you can have your hands back. Tsunade's voice is sharp. I'd rather cut them off, she snarls. Orochimaru smiles, unbothered. Stubborn, he murmurs. Still. Naruto steps forward, voice cold. Back away, Naruto says. Orochimaru's gaze slides to Naruto, amused. Ah, he says softly, the boy wearing the hat. Naruto doesn't flinch. You're on civilian ground, Naruto says. You're endangering innocents. Orochimaru chuckles. How noble, he says, and how predictable. Kabuto's eyes flick to Naruto, calculating. Hokage-sama, Kabuto says politely as if greeting a guest. It's an honor. Naruto's skin crawls. Stop talking, Naruto snaps. I know what you are. Orochimaru steps closer to Tsunade, ignoring Naruto like he's background noise. Tsunade, he says, voice almost gentle, I can cure your hands. I can cure your fear. I can erase the nightmares. His smile sharpens. And I can bring them back. The plaza goes still in a different way. Civilians stop running long enough to listen, like the word back hooked them too. Tsunade's face tightens. Her lips part, then close. Her breath shakes once, barely visible, like the ghost stirred. Naruto steps closer, voice hard. Don't listen, Naruto says. He's lying. Orochimaru's eyes gleam. Am I? He asks, almost playful. I've done things you consider impossible. I've rewritten bodies, I've stolen time. Resurrection is simply another technique. Tsunade's jaw clenches. What do you want? She whispers. Orochimaru's smile widens. Your genius, he says. Your hands, your loyalty. Assist me, and I will give you what Konoha never could. His eyes narrow with satisfaction. Family. Naruto watches Tsunade's posture waver. Not collapse. Waver. That is the danger, not fear, hope. Naruto steps in front of Tsunade, blocking her view of Orochimaru like he can block the poison with his body. No, Naruto says flatly. You don't get her. Orochimaru's gaze stays on Tsunade, not Naruto. You're letting a child decide your life? He asks her softly. How humiliating. Tsunade's fingers twitch, uncertain. Naruto's voice drops into something colder. She's not letting me decide, Naruto says. She's deciding whether she wants to be used by a monster. Orochimaru chuckles, eyes gleaming with pleasure. So dramatic, he murmurs. Very well. Let's see how much your conviction is worth. Kabuto's hand flicks. A thin needle senbon cuts through the air toward Shizune's throat. Naruto moves on instinct, body snapping sideways, shoulder slamming into Shizune and knocking her down as the needle whistles past where her neck was. Shizune gasps. Jiraiya's chakra flares, furious. Kabuto. Kabuto smiles faintly. Just testing reflexes, he says. Orochimaru's voice is soft. See? He murmurs to Tsunade. People bleed when you hesitate. Shizune scrambles to her feet, shaking but alive. Tsunade stares at her for a split second, then back at Orochimaru, anger rising through the fear. Naruto feels the shift. He presses it. Look at him, Naruto says to Tsunade, voice sharp. He's not offering you family. He's offering you puppets. and he's going to make you pay for it with other people's blood. Tsunade's breathing quickens, her hands tremble. The old panic tries to claw up again. Orochimaru smiles. He speaks well, he says. For a boy who still believes the world is fair. Naruto's eyes narrow. The world isn't fair, Naruto says. That's why we fight. Orochimaru's gaze slides to Naruto now, amused. And that's why you'll die, he says softly. Because you fight for people who will turn on you the moment you fail. Naruto feels the insult trying to sink into his chest. He refuses it. He steps forward anyway, wind chakra tightening around him like a storm preparing to cut. I'm not here to debate, Naruto says. I'm here to end your leverage. Orochimaru laughs lightly. Then try, he says. The plaza explodes into motion. Jiraiya lunges toward Orochimaru, chakra roaring, but Kabuto intercepts with medical chakra blades, carving at Jiraiya's movement like a surgeon cutting tendon. Jiraiya snarls, forced into a tighter fight than he wants. Naruto creates clones in a burst, 20, then 30, fanning out to protect civilians, pushing people away from the center, turning chaos into controlled evacuation. 2 clones stay close to Shizune. 4 circle Tsunade like guards. Tsunade stands rigid, breathing shaking, eyes locked on the thin line of blood on a civilian's forehead nearby. Her hands tremble, her mind is teetering. Naruto moves close enough to speak to her without Orochimaru hearing every syllable. Breathe, Naruto orders quietly. Look at me, not the blood. Tsunade's eyes flick to Naruto. For a second, she looks like she hates him for being calm. Naruto holds her gaze anyway. You're not weak, Naruto says. You're wounded. There's a difference. Tsunade's jaw tightens. Shut up, she rasps. Naruto's eyes harden. No, he says, because if you freeze now, Orochimaru wins, and I'm done letting monsters win. Something in Tsunade's expression shifts, tiny but real. Anger flares. Anger is cleaner than fear. Anger moves you forward. Orochimaru notices. His smile sharpens. Come now, Tsunade, he purrs. Choose. Kabuto flicks another needle toward Tsunade, aimed to draw blood, aimed to collapse her. Naruto steps into it instantly. The needle slices his forearm instead, a clean line of red. Pain flashes, sharp and bright. Tsunade sees it. Her breath catches hard. Naruto expects her to crumble. Instead, Tsunade stares at the blood on Naruto's arm and the fear hits, and then something else hits harder. Shame, anger, and a fierce, burning disgust at herself. She stares at Naruto's steady eyes and the way he doesn't flinch from pain, doesn't flinch from blood, doesn't flinch from responsibility. Her hands tremble violently. Then they clench into fists. Orochimaru's smile falters for the smallest moment. Tsunade's voice comes out low, broken. You used them, she whispers, staring at Orochimaru. You used their names. Orochimaru's smile returns smoothly. I offered you what you want, he says. Take it. Tsunade's eyes blaze. No, she says. The word hits like a wall. Orochimaru's gaze sharpens, annoyance flashing beneath his calm. Tsunade, he warns softly. Tsunade steps forward like a storm. I'm done, she snarls. Done letting grief decide my life. Then she moves. She crosses the distance in a blur, faster than any civilian eye can track, and her fist slams into Orochimaru's chest with a sound like stone shattering. The ground cracks. Air explodes outward. Orochimaru's body launches backward through a wall, rubble flying like shrapnel. Civilians scream. Naruto's clones throw up shields, pushing people down, absorbing debris. For a heartbeat, there is stunned silence. Then Kabuto swears, eyes cold now, and goes for Tsunade with surgical precision, trying to disable her before she can strike again. But Tsunade doesn't fight like a medic now. She fights like a woman reclaiming her rage. She dodges the first strike, catches Kabuto's wrist, twists, and slams him into the ground hard enough to crater the dirt. Kabuto spits blood, then controlled, not gore, then flips away, breathing hard, eyes narrowed in shock. Jiraiya takes the opening and hammers Kabuto with a heady palm, disrupting his chakra flow. Kabuto staggers, irritated, forced back. Naruto sprints through the dust toward the broken wall where Orochimaru disappeared, wind chakra building around his arms. He doesn't want to kill him here, collateral is too high, but he wants to drive him off. He wants to make it hurt. Orochimaru steps out of rubble calmly, brushing dust from his cloak like he enjoyed being punched through architecture. His eyes gleam with delighted menace. Wonderful, he purrs. You still have teeth. Tsunade stands over broken stone, breathing hard, fists clenched, blood on her knuckles. And you still don't, she snarls. Orochimaru's smile sharpens. Then let's see how long your courage lasts, he says, and his hands begin forming signs. Naruto feels the shift instantly. The air tightening, the chakra pressure rising. Orochimaru isn't going to play with kunai anymore. He's going to use something that ends fights quickly, something that kills or breaks. Naruto steps forward. Tsunade grabs his sleeve hard. Don't, she snaps. Naruto turns sharply. What? He demands. Tsunade's eyes blaze. This is between us, she snarls. He's mine. Naruto's jaw tightens. He's everyone's, Naruto says. He's the reason my village bleeds. Tsunade's grip tightens. And if you die here, she hisses, your village bleeds forever. The words land hard because they're true. Jiraiya steps beside Naruto, breathing heavy, voice low. We didn't come to kill Orochimaru, he says. We came to get Tsunade to choose Konoha. Naruto's chest rises and falls hard. He looks at Tsunade. She's standing now, she's fighting now, but she's also still shaking inside, and Naruto knows if Orochimaru drags this into a prolonged battle, he'll find a way to break her again. Naruto makes the call. Retreat, Naruto orders. Tsunade whips toward him furious. What? Naruto's eyes harden. We got what we came for, he says. We're leaving. Orochimaru's smile widens, amused. Running? He purrs. How disappointing. Naruto doesn't answer him. He turns to Jiraiya. Summon, Naruto snaps. Jiraiya doesn't hesitate. He slams a palm to the ground. Smoke erupts. A massive toad rises with a roar, shaking the plaza. Civilians scream and scatter again, but Naruto's clones herd them away, maintaining order. Tsunade glares at Naruto like she wants to punch him too. I'm not finished, she snarls. Naruto steps closer, voice low enough to be private. Yes, you are, he says. Because if we stay, he'll switch tactics. He'll take a hostage, he'll spill blood, and you'll freeze again. Naruto's eyes harden. I'm not letting him control you. Tsunade's jaw clenches, trembling with rage. Then Shizune grabs Tsunade's arm, voice shaking but firm. Tsunade-sama, she pleads. Please. Tsunade's eyes flick to Shizune and something softens just enough. Not surrender, not mercy, loyalty. Fine, Tsunade spits. But if he follows? Naruto's gaze turns to steel. Then we make him regret it, Naruto says. They climb onto the toad's back fast. Naruto's clones dispel in waves as civilians reach safety, feeding Naruto flashes of chaos and relief. Shizune hauls her bag up. Tsunade moves last, eyes never leaving Orochimaru. Orochimaru stands amid the debris, smiling like a man watching prey limp away. Kabuto straightens nearby, eyes cold behind his glasses. Orochimaru lifts a hand in a mock farewell. Not today, he calls softly, but soon. Naruto's jaw clenches. The toad launches, bounding away from Tanzaku town in huge leaps, wind slicing past their faces. The town shrinks behind them, chaos fading into distance. Naruto finally lets himself exhale, but the relief is thin. The danger isn't gone, it's just repositioning. Tsunade sits rigid, arms folded, staring ahead like she's daring the horizon to challenge her again. Her hands tremble slightly, but she keeps them clenched to hide it. Shizune sits close, watching Tsunade like she's afraid she'll vanish again if she blinks. Jiraiya settles near the front, eyes scanning behind them. He'll track us, he mutters. Naruto nods. Let him, Naruto says. He won't get what he wants. Jiraiya glances back, voice low. You sure you know what he wants? He asks. Naruto's eyes narrow, thinking of the way Orochimaru looked at Tsunade's hands. The way he offered resurrection like a toy. The way he studied Naruto like a specimen. He wants leverage, Naruto says. He wants to break something important. Jiraiya's gaze sharpens. And what's important right now? He asks. Naruto doesn't answer immediately. Then he says it anyway, quiet and brutal. Everything. Once per part, one mid-roll re-engagement line. If you're locked in with fanfics in a nutshell, don't scroll. Because the moment they reach Konoha, the real war starts inside the village, not outside it. Hours later, Konoha's border markers appear. Hidden seals, patrol signs, subtle chakra threads woven into trees. The toad drops them outside the main gate in a burst of dust. Guards stiffen instantly. People stop walking. Eyes widen. Tsunade steps down, and the air changes. The legend walks into the village like a consequence. Whispers ripple. Some shinobi look relieved. Some look terrified. Some look like they're watching the village's spine reattach itself. Naruto doesn't slow. He doesn't let it become a parade. He moves through the gate like a commander dragging salvation by the collar. Medical winged, Naruto orders instantly. A and BU create a silent corridor. Civilians step aside, murmuring, Shinobi bow. Naruto's cloak flutters as he runs, Tsunade and Shizune following, Jiraiya behind them like a shadow that refuses to die. The hospital smells like antiseptic and exhaustion. Medics snap to attention. Someone whispers, Tsunade, like a prayer. Naruto doesn't stop until he reaches Kakashi's room. Kakashi lies pale on the bed, breathing shallow, sweat dampening his hair. His visible eye is closed. The covered side feels like a wound even under cloth. Naruto's chest tightens. He steps close. "Kakashi," he murmurs. No response. Tsunade pushes forward instantly, taking over without asking. "Remove the headband," she orders. A medic hesitates. "That's..." Tsunade's eyes cut like steel. "Now." They obey. The Sharingan is exposed. It looks strained, inflamed, like the chakra pathways around it were torn open and forced to stay that way. Tsunade's fingers press to Kakashi's temple. Her other hand rests on his chest. Her medical chakra threads through him, precise, controlled, terrifyingly efficient. Her face tightens. "He pushed it too far," she mutters. Naruto's voice is tight. "Can you fix it?" Tsunade doesn't look up. "I can stabilize him," she says. "I can reduce the strain. Recovery depends on how deep the damage is." Her eyes narrow. "What caused this?" Naruto swallows. "Itachi," he says. Tsunade's fingers pause for half a heartbeat. Then they resume faster. "Of course," she mutters, disgusted. Uchiha poison never dies quietly. Shizune moves beside Tsunade like a second set of hands, laying out tools, scrolls, medic pouches. The room becomes a battlefield of medicine, quiet, relentless. Naruto stands at the side like a man held at gunpoint by fate, watching Tsunade fight something he can't punch. Minutes stretch. Tsunade's brow sweats. Her jaw clenches. Her chakra control is so tight it looks like nothing is happening, but Naruto feels the pressure in the air like she's gripping Kakashi's life with invisible fingers and refusing to let it slip. Then Kakashi's breathing deepens, just slightly. Naruto's throat tightens. "Is he?" "Not dead," Tsunade snaps. "Don't celebrate." Naruto swallows hard, forcing himself to stay still. Tsunade seals chakra flow around the Sharingan with a final decisive press, then steps back, exhaling slowly. "He'll live," she says. Naruto's chest releases a breath he didn't realize he was holding. It feels like stepping out of drowning water. Shizune's shoulders drop, relief flickering across her face. Naruto's voice comes out rough. "Thank you," he says. Tsunade wipes her hands, unimpressed. "Don't thank me," she replies. "Just stop letting your best people get shredded by idiots with fancy eyes." Naruto's eyes narrow. "We didn't choose the fight," he says. Tsunade's gaze hardens. "Then your defenses are weak," she says bluntly. Naruto holds her stare. "I'm fixing it," he replies. Tsunade snorts. "Good," she says. "Because if enemies walked in once, they'll walk in again." Naruto's jaw tightens. "I know." Tsunade turns to Shizune. "We're staying," she says. The sentence lands heavy. Naruto feels it in his bones. Not because Tsunade is suddenly loyal, because she chose action over escape, even if she hates it, even if it burns. Naruto nods once. "Then you have full authority over the hospital," he says. "No interference." Tsunade's eyes narrow. "You sure?" she asks. "There are snakes in your village that don't wear Orochimaru's face." Naruto's gaze turns to steel. "Let them try," he says. Tsunade studies him, then nods once, satisfied. But Naruto's mind is already racing ahead, because saving Kakashi is only the first fire. The second fire is waiting in the shadows of his own council. The third fire is a boy named Sasuke, already cracking under secrets. And Naruto knows, deep in his gut, that while they were out of the village, someone inside it moved pieces on the board. He doesn't know yet how badly. He only knows the next knock on his office door won't be a messenger. It'll be a threat wearing a polite voice. And Naruto will have to answer it without flinching, because the hat doesn't care if he's ready. It just sits heavier. The knock comes before Naruto even makes it back to the tower. It's an ANBU shadow dropping from the roofline beside the hospital entrance, mask angled down, voice tight. "Hokage-sama," the ANBU says. "The council is convened. Immediate." Danzo called it. Naruto's jaw tightens. He can almost hear the old man's cane tapping in his head like a metronome for trouble. Tsunade steps out of Kakashi's room behind him, wiping her hands, eyes already narrowed. "Danzo," she says, like the name tastes rotten. Naruto's gaze stays forward. He wants to move while people are relieved, Naruto says. While the village is distracted, Tsunade scoffs. "A parasite," she mutters. Naruto turns toward her. "Stay here," he says. "The hospital needs you." Tsunade's eyes flash. "Don't order me," she snaps. Naruto holds her stare, calm but firm. "I'm not ordering," he says. "I'm prioritizing." He glances toward the corridor behind her where medics are still whispering, still looking at her like she's a miracle. If you leave right now, panic returns. Kakashi stabilizes, then collapses again because everyone loses focus. Tsunade's jaw clenches. She hates being right. She hates being needed. But she hates Danzo more than she hates orders. "Fine," she spits. "But if he tries something, I'll break his teeth." Naruto nods once. "Noted," he says, then turns sharply to the ANBU. "Who's there?" he asks as he starts moving. "Clan heads," the ANBU reports, jogging with him. "Homura and Koharu, Shikaku, Inoichi, Hiashi, several Jonin representatives. Danzo requested full attendance. Naruto's eyes narrow. Full attendance means Danzo wants witnesses. He wants a public narrative. He wants to make Naruto's refusal look like irresponsibility. The Hokage Tower looms ahead, and Naruto's chest tightens with that familiar sense of stepping into a fight he can't punch his way through. He reaches the chamber and enters without ceremony. The room is full, voices low, tense. Danzo sits upright with his cane resting against his knee, visible eye calm, the bandaged side of his face unreadable. Homura and Koharu look stiff. Shikaku's posture is relaxed, but his gaze is sharp. Hiashi sits like a blade that learned how to be still. Inoichi watches Naruto carefully, expression neutral but calculating. A few Jonin sit along the sides, faces Naruto recognizes from patrol rotations, from border duty, from the kind of work that gets you killed quietly. All eyes turn to Naruto. Naruto takes the head position and sits. "Start," he says. Danzo speaks first, voice smooth as oil. "Hokage-sama," he says. "It is fortunate that Tsunade Senju has returned. I hear Kakashi Hatake's condition has improved." Naruto doesn't blink. "He will live," Naruto says. A ripple of relief moves through the room. Some shoulders loosen, some breaths release. Danzo lets it happen, then leans forward slightly. "Then we can focus on the larger crisis," Danzo says. "Akatsuki breached our borders. That is not a minor failure. It is a structural one." Naruto's gaze stays cold. "Continue," he says. Danzo's visible eye glints. "Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki walked into Konoha," Danzo says. "They moved inside our perimeter. They engaged a Jonin captain." His tone stays polite, which makes every word sharper. "This proves our internal security is compromised. Either our defenses are inadequate or information is leaking." Naruto's jaw tightens. "Our defenses are being rebuilt," Naruto says, "and information leaks are being investigated." Danzo's mouth twitches. "Investigated," he repeats, a soft word for a hard problem. Shikaku's voice cuts in, calm. "Hard problems don't become easier if you overreact," he says. "They become messier." Danzo's eyes slides to him. "Overreaction," Danzo murmurs. "I call it preparedness." Naruto sees the angle forming. Danzo is about to offer his solution, the one he always offers, give him more power. Danzo taps his cane once. "To prevent further breaches," he says, "I propose immediate martial protocols. Increased surveillance, curfews in high-traffic districts, mandatory chakra registration for all shinobi entering or leaving the village, and," his eye narrows, "full operational freedom for Root to re-establish internal compliance." The word Root lands like a blade on the table. Homura shifts uncomfortably. Koharu's lips press into a thin line. A few Jonin glance at each other, tense. Naruto leans forward. "No," he says. Danzo doesn't react outwardly. "No?" he repeats softly, like he's surprised the child spoke out of turn. Naruto's eyes stay steady. "No Root freedom," Naruto says. "No curfews. No chakra registration for civilians. We are not turning Konoha into a prison because you want your private army back." Danzo's visible eye hardens. "Private army?" He echoes, tone still calm. "Root exists to protect the village." Shikaku's gaze stays sharp. "Root exists to protect your leverage," he says flatly. A murmur ripples. Danzo's jaw tightens by a fraction. Danzo lifts his hand slightly as if offering reason. "Hokage-sama," he says, "you are new to governance. You see enemies outside the walls. I see the enemies already inside." His gaze slides, purposeful, toward Hiashi and the clan heads, planting seeds. Akatsuki did not stroll into the village by accident. Naruto's voice is cold. "Don't," he says. Danzo's eye narrows. "Don't what?" he asks. "Don't turn this into paranoia," Naruto says. "If you have evidence of an internal leak, present it. If you don't, stop poisoning the village with suspicion." Danzo's cane taps again. "Evidence can be difficult to obtain when oversight is weak," he says smoothly, "which is why Root must operate without restriction." Naruto's jaw tightens. It's the same circular argument every time. "I need more power because I can't prove I deserve it." Naruto takes a slow breath, then speaks with the same blunt certainty he used on the battlefield. "Aro Ut will be audited," he says, "starting now." Danzo's visible eye narrows sharply. "Audited?" he repeats, voice still polite but colder underneath. Naruto nods once. "Your rosters," Naruto says. "Your missions, your recruitment, your detention sites, everything. If Root serves the village, it has nothing to hide." Danzo's mouth tightens. "During a crisis," he says, "you choose to weaken our covert reach." Naruto's eyes harden. "During a crisis," Naruto says, "I choose to remove hidden knives from my own back." Silence thickens. Homura clears his throat carefully. Hokage-sama, he begins, the village's stability. Naruto cuts him off with a glance. Not rude, just firm. Stability built on secrecy is rot, Naruto says. I won't inherit rot and pretend it's tradition. Danzo's visible eye burns. He pivots, changing tactics smoothly. Very well, he says. Then let us speak of immediate threats, specifically Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto feels his stomach drop a fraction. There it is. The lever. Hayashi's gaze sharpens. Inoichi's posture tightens. Shikaku's eyes narrow slightly as if he expected this and still hates it. Naruto's voice is quiet. Explain, he says. Danzo's smile is faint. Itachi Uchiha breached the village, Danzo says. The Uchiha name, once again, is tied to treason. Sasuke is his brother. He pauses, letting old fears stir. His bloodline is valuable. His mental stability is questionable. For village safety, Sasuke should be placed under secure supervision. Naruto's eyes go cold. Under root, he says. Danzo doesn't deny it. Under competent protection, he corrects. Naruto's fist tightens under the table. He keeps his voice even. Sasuke remains under Hokage protection, he says. ANBU level. Danzo's visible eye narrows. Hokage-sama, he says softly, you cannot guard every weakness personally. Naruto's voice turns into steel. Then we strengthen our systems, he says, without handing you a child as a weapon. Danzo's mouth tightens. A child? He repeats, subtle mockery. He is a shinobi. Naruto doesn't blink. He is my shinobi, Naruto says. And you don't get to take him? Danzo leans forward slightly, voice lower. If Sasuke leaves, Danzo says, and his power falls into enemy hands, the village will blame you. Naruto meets his gaze. If Sasuke leaves, Naruto says, it'll be because people like you pushed him. A ripple moves through the room. Danzo's eye narrows. Koharu flinches. Homura looks away. Shikaku exhales slowly. Enough, he says. We are not turning a traumatized shinobi into a political bargaining chip. Danzo's gaze slides to Shikaku, cold. Trauma makes people unpredictable, he says. Unpredictable assets become liabilities. Naruto's voice snaps. Stop calling people assets, he says. Danzo's cane taps once more. Then let's call them what they are, he says softly. Tools. Weapons. This is the shinobi world. Naruto's eyes harden. No, he says. That's the old world, and it got my village burned. The words hang in the chamber like smoke. Danzo holds Naruto's gaze for a long moment, then leans back, expression smoothing. He can't win this argument here, not outright. Not with witnesses. So he does what he always does. He retreats with a blade hidden in his sleeve. Very well, he says calmly. If you refuse my proposals, then at minimum I request authorization for increased internal monitoring. His eye glints. For the good of the village. Naruto stands. The movement is controlled, final. Meeting adjourned, he says. We'll increase perimeter patrols. We'll reinforce the barrier team. We'll coordinate with allied villages, and route will be audited. Danzo's gaze sharpens. You can't. Naruto cuts him off, voice like iron. I can, he says, because I'm Hokage. Silence. Then chairs scrape. Clan heads rise. The room breaks apart slowly, tension lingering in every breath. Danzo stays seated until the last possible moment, then stands with measured calm. He turns toward Naruto as if offering respect. Good luck, he says softly. You will need it. Naruto watches him go, jaw tight, because he knows that wasn't a farewell. It was a promise. Once per part, one mid-roll re-engagement line. If you're still riding with fanfics in a nutshell, don't blink. Danzo just lost in public, which means he's about to strike in private. Naruto leaves the chamber and moves down the tower corridor with ANBU shadows trailing. His clone is waiting near the Hokage office door, posture straight, expression mirroring Naruto's own tension. The clone speaks quietly. While you were gone, it says, Danzo convened 2 smaller meetings with select elders. He was denied access to your office. He wasn't happy. Naruto dispels the clone without a word, and the wave of information hits him like a dull hammer. Paperwork, briefings, whispered conversations, subtle shifts in village mood. Relief about Kakashi. Awe about Tsunade. And a rising threat of fear. Because when people hear Akatsuki, their minds go to Nine Tails. Naruto rubs his forehead once, then turns toward the window. The village rooftops glow in late afternoon sun, peaceful on the surface. Beneath it, the gears are turning, and ANBU appears beside the desk. Hokage-sama, the ANBU reports. Sasuke Uchiha left his compound. He is moving toward the old training grounds. Naruto's blood turns cold. He doesn't ask why. He already knows. Itachi's presence ripped open wounds that never healed. Secrets are vibrating under Sasuke's skin like splinters trying to push out. Naruto grabs his cloak and bolts. He moves fast across rooftops, wind cutting his face, ANBU shadows trailing. He reaches the old training grounds in minutes and drops into the clearing like a blade. Sasuke stands in the center, back turned, shoulders rigid, fists clenched. His chakra flickers unevenly, sharp and unstable. The air around him feels like metal about to snap. Naruto steps forward carefully. "Sasuke," he calls, voice low. Sasuke doesn't turn at first. "He's laughing," Sasuke whispers. Naruto's stomach tightens. "Who?" Naruto asks, though he knows. Sasuke's voice shakes. "Itachi," he says. "He's laughing in my head." Naruto steps closer, keeping his tone grounded. "That's trauma," Naruto says. "It's not him." Sasuke finally turns, and the look in his eyes hits like a punch. Sharingan flaring, rage and grief twisted together, exhaustion beneath it all. "You don't understand," Sasuke says, voice sharp. "You didn't see what he did." Naruto's jaw tightens. "I know he hurt you," Naruto says. "I know he showed you things you didn't deserve to carry." Sasuke's hands tremble. "He killed them," Sasuke whispers. "And he looked at me like I was nothing." Naruto exhales slowly. "Sasuke," Naruto says, "you're not nothing." Sasuke's laugh is bitter. "Then why am I still here?" he snaps. "Why am I stuck in this village while he walks free?" Naruto steps closer. "Because you're alive," Naruto says, "and because he wants you to chase him." Sasuke's eyes flare. "Good," he snarls. "Then I'll chase him." Naruto's voice hardens. "No," he says. Sasuke's gaze sharpens. "Who are you to stop me?" Sasuke spits. "The Hokage? My babysitter? My jailer?" Naruto's eyes go cold. "I'm your comrade," Naruto says. "And you're not leaving." Sasuke's jaw clenches. "Or what?" Naruto's voice drops. "Or I stop you," he says. The air between them tightens. Sasuke moves first, fast, sharp, kunai flashing. Naruto doesn't dodge away. He steps in, catches Sasuke's wrist, twists, disarms. Sasuke kicks, Naruto blocks. Sasuke swings again, Naruto shoves him back. Sasuke staggers, eyes blazing. "You think you're stronger?" he snarls. Naruto's voice is steady. "I'm calmer," he says. "That's enough." Sasuke's breath shakes. "Calm doesn't kill, Itachi," he spits. Naruto's jaw tightens. "Rage won't either," Naruto says. "Not if you run straight into someone else's trap." Sasuke's eyes narrow. "Trap?" he hisses. Naruto opens his mouth, and the air shifts. A cold pressure slides across the clearing like night falling too fast. Naruto's instincts scream. ANBU appear on the perimeter instantly, masks glinting, weapons ready. Naruto's gaze snaps to the tree line. A figure steps from the shadows between trees, moving slowly, deliberately, like the darkness itself is making room for him. One visible eye glints. His posture is calm. His chakra is wrong dense, heavy, ancient. Naruto's blood turns to ice. Sasuke's breath catches. "Who?" he starts. The figure's voice is quiet, almost amused. "You speak well for a boy," he says. Naruto steps fully between Sasuke and the newcomer, voice cold. "State your name," Naruto demands. The figure's smile curves under the shadow. "Names are tools," he says. "But if you need one," his eye sharpens. "You can call me Madara." The clearing goes still. Naruto feels the weight of the name slam into the moment like a boulder. Sasuke's breathing turns ragged. ANBU tighten their formation, but Naruto can feel it, the sense that steel won't be enough here. Naruto's jaw clenches. Because the enemy didn't come to fight. He came to write a story inside Sasuke's head, and Naruto can already feel Sasuke starting to listen. Naruto doesn't blink when the man says the name, Madara. The syllables are meant to terrify. They're meant to drag old legends into the present and make everyone in the clearing feel small. Naruto refuses to give him that satisfaction. He shifts his stance instead. Feet planted, shoulders squared, body fully between Sasuke and the intruder. Around them, ANBU tighten in a ring, blades angled, masks glinting. Sasuke's chakra spikes behind Naruto like a storm trying to break free. The masked man, because Naruto sees it now. The subtle line of the face covering, the way shadow clings too neatly, tilts his head as if amused. "You react quickly," he says. "That's good. Quick reactions keep people alive." Naruto's voice is ice. "And lying names get people killed," he says. "You're not Madara." The man chuckles softly. "Perhaps," he replies. "Perhaps not, but the effect is the same." Sasuke's voice is strained, hungry. "Madara," he whispers like the name is a key that could unlock his entire life. Naruto's chest tightens. "That's what this is. Not an attack, a lure." Naruto speaks without turning his head, voice low. "Sasuke," he says, "don't listen." Sasuke's breath shakes. "He knows," Sasuke whispers. Naruto's jaw tightens. "He knows how to use you," Naruto says. The man's eye glints, amused by the tug of war. So protective, he murmurs, and yet you keep him in a cage. Naruto's voice hardens. I keep him alive, he snaps. The man's gaze slides past Naruto to Sasuke again. Alive, he repeats softly, and miserable. Sasuke's fists clench. Naruto feels the tremor behind him. Naruto raises his voice slightly, not for drama, for clarity. State your purpose, he orders. Now. The man takes a slow step forward. A and B U shift, ready to strike. Naruto lifts a hand without looking, holding them back. If this man moves like Itachi, if he has some reality warping technique, then sloppy aggression gets people killed. The man's voice stays calm. Purpose, he echoes. To correct an injustice. He pauses. The Uchiha were betrayed. Their sacrifices were swallowed by lies. And one boy was left to rot in a village that smiles while hiding knives. Sasuke's breath catches. Naruto's spine stiffens. The man is stepping directly on the worst landmine in Konoha's history. Naruto's voice is sharp. Stop, he says. The man's eye gleams. Stop me, he replies, tone gentle like he's speaking to a child. Or stop the truth? Sasuke's voice rises, raw. What truth? He demands. Naruto turns his head slightly, enough to meet Sasuke's gaze. Sasuke's eyes are wild, Sharingan spinning like it's desperate for answers. Naruto feels the weight of timing again. Truth can save, but truth can also detonate. Naruto decides, fast. The worst thing he can do is let this stranger control Sasuke's narrative. Sasuke, Naruto says, voice steady, the village made choices out of fear. The Uchiha were seen as a threat. People in power decided their lives could be traded for stability. Sasuke freezes, breath stuttering. You're saying, he whispers. Naruto's jaw tightens. I'm saying you were lied to, Naruto says, and you deserve the truth, but not from him. The man chuckles softly. Beautiful, he murmurs, and incomplete. Sasuke's fists tremble. Names, Sasuke whispers. Who did it? Naruto's stomach tightens. Danzo's shadow rises behind his eyes. Root, the council, the old world. Naruto can't spit Danzo's name here in the open with this man watching. Not because Danzo deserves protection, because Sasuke will charge straight at him, and Danzo will use that chaos to swallow Sasuke into Root or get him killed. That's how parasites survive, by using predictable rage. Naruto holds Sasuke's gaze. Not like this, Naruto says, not in front of him. Sasuke's voice cracks. You're still hiding, he snarls. Naruto's voice turns hard. I'm protecting you, he snaps. The man watches the fracture widen with obvious satisfaction. There, he says softly, that's the sound of trust dying. Naruto's eyes go cold. You're enjoying this, Naruto says. The man's eye gleams. I'm appreciating clarity, he replies. He's finally seeing what the village is. Sasuke's breath shakes, anger and despair mixing into something dangerous. If you know, Sasuke says to the man, voice trembling, tell me. Naruto's chest tightens. Sasuke. The man speaks gently, like he's offering kindness. You want names, he says. You want direction. He pauses, then leans slightly towards Sasuke. Your brother was ordered. Sasuke's eyes widen. Naruto's jaw clenches hard enough to hurt. The man is detonating the grenade anyway. Only he's doing it with a smile. You don't get to say that, Naruto snarls. The man's voice is calm. It's true, he replies, and truth doesn't belong to you. Sasuke staggers a half step as if he's been hit. Ordered, he whispers. Itachi was ordered. Naruto moves towards Sasuke instinctively, trying to anchor him, but Sasuke's chakra flares sharp like a blade. The man's voice slides in again, quieter. If you want justice, he says, you can't get it here. Here, they hide. They bury. They call murder stability. He pauses. But with me, you can hunt the people responsible. You can hunt the system. Naruto's voice turns lethal. You're recruiting him, he says. The man's eye gleams. Of course, he replies. You think I walked into your village for conversation? Naruto shifts, wind chakra tightening around his arms, the air compressing into sharp, invisible pressure. A and Bu tense, ready. Then you won't leave, Naruto says. The man's chuckle is soft. Bold, he murmurs. You really did grow into the hat. Naruto lunges. He doesn't throw a flashy Rasengan. He doesn't shout. He closes distance like a professional, aiming for the wrist, the shoulder, the collar control points. His hand reaches and passes through. Nothing. Naruto twists mid-motion, landing in a crouch, eyes narrowing sharply. The space where the man stands feels wrong, like a mirage with weight. The man's voice drifts from a slightly different angle than his body. Perception, he murmurs, is everything. And Bu strike anyway, chains snapping out, weighted nets flying. Kunai aim to pin. They pass through too. Naruto's stomach drops. Not genjutsu, he mutters, something else. The man steps, one calm pace, and suddenly he's behind an A and Bu. Two fingers tap the ANBU's neck. The ANBU collapses instantly, unconscious, like someone flipped a switch. Naruto's breath tightens. He can't allow a slaughter. Not here, not around Sasuke, not with civilians nearby. He has to control this without making it worse. Naruto's voice cuts through. All squads, he orders. Defensive formation, no blind strikes. Protect Sasuke and withdraw to perimeter. ANBU obey instantly because Naruto's voice isn't panicked, it's commanding. Sasuke's eyes blaze. Don't run! Sasuke snarls. Naruto snaps his head toward him. This isn't running, Naruto says. This is not dying for his entertainment. The man's eye gleams, amused by Naruto's control. Good, he murmurs. You're learning. Sasuke takes one step forward anyway, pulled by obsession. If you know, Sasuke demands, tell me where Itachi is. Naruto grabs Sasuke's sleeve hard, yanking him back. Stop, Naruto snarls. Sasuke jerks, furious. Don't touch me. Naruto's voice drops low, dangerous. If you walk toward him, Naruto says, you're not brave, you're predictable. The word hits Sasuke like a slap. Sasuke freezes for half a heartbeat. The man's voice slides in, smooth. Predictable, he repeats softly. Or committed? Sasuke's eyes flare again. Naruto's chest tightens. He can't win by force. He has to win by rewriting Sasuke's internal logic before this man does. Naruto steps slightly to the side, still blocking, but lowering his voice. Sasuke, he says, listen to me. If you want justice, you do it with your eyes open. Not by following the first stranger who offers you rage as a map. Sasuke's breath shakes. You're still hiding names, Sasuke whispers. Naruto's jaw tightens. He chooses the hardest truth, the one that matters most in this moment. Yes, Naruto says, because if I give you names right now, you'll sprint toward them and get yourself killed. His voice hardens. And I'm not letting the people who murdered your clan also murder you. Sasuke's eyes tremble. Pain flashes through. Anger tries to cover it. The man watches, irritation flickering for the first time. Naruto is slowing the conversion. Naruto is introducing friction. Friction is death to recruitment. The man steps closer slow, deliberate until he's within a few paces. You want answers, he says to Sasuke, voice low. Meet me tomorrow night beyond the village border, alone. Naruto's blood turns to ice. Sasuke's breath catches. Naruto's voice snaps. No. The man's eye gleams. Yes, he replies calmly, because if you come with guards, you come with chains. If you come alone, you come with choice. Naruto steps forward, wind chakra flaring slightly, the air sharpening. You will not take him, Naruto says. The man's gaze slides to Naruto, amused. I don't need to take him, he says softly. I only need to make him want to leave. Sasuke's fists tremble. Naruto feels it. The hook's sinking again. Sasuke's mind is already imagining tomorrow night like it's a door he can't stop staring at. Naruto's voice turns tight. Sasuke, he says, don't. Sasuke's voice is a broken whisper. But he knows, he says. Naruto's jaw tightens. So do I, Naruto says. And I'm right here. For a heartbeat, Sasuke's eyes lock on Naruto's. There's a crack of something human, something that wants to trust. Then the man lifts his hand slightly and the air shifts again. Reality bends, not visually, but like pressure inside the skull. ANBU stumble. Naruto's senses blur for a second like the world is sliding sideways. Naruto grits his teeth and forces chakra control, grounding himself. The distortion weakens. The man's eye narrows. Interesting, he murmurs. You resist. Naruto's voice is a growl. I adapt, he says. The man chuckles softly. Then adapt to this, he says. He flickers. One moment he stands before them. The next, he is beside Sasuke, hand on Sasuke's shoulder, possessive, claiming. Naruto lunges. Too late. The man leans close to Sasuke, voice low enough to be intimate, loud enough for Naruto to catch fragments. Your brother, he murmurs, was never your true enemy. Sasuke's eyes widen, breath stuttering. Naruto's voice is lethal. Move. The man lifts his hand from Sasuke's shoulder like he's done enough damage. He steps back half a pace, calm again. Choice, he says to Sasuke. Tomorrow night. Naruto's wind chakra tightens. He wants to tear this man apart. He can't. Not without risking everyone here. Not without falling into the trap of escalation the man clearly controls. The man's gaze slides to Naruto. You're trying to save him, he says softly. But he doesn't want saving. He wants revenge. Naruto's eyes harden. Then I'll help him get it the right way, he says. The man chuckles. The right way, he repeats. There is no right way. There is only power. Then he dissolves into the darkness between trees like shadow swallowing itself. Silence hits like a shockwave. ANBU scan the perimeter, weapons trembling slightly. Sasuke stands rigid, breathing ragged, eyes locked on the place the man vanished as if staring long enough will bring him back. Naruto steps towards Sasuke carefully. Sasuke, he says. Sasuke doesn't look at him. Tomorrow, Sasuke whispers. Naruto's chest tightens. He grabs Sasuke's shoulder and forces him to turn. "Look at me," Naruto orders. Sasuke's eyes snap up, burning. "You heard him," Sasuke snarls. "He knows everything. And you're still hiding." Naruto's voice drops, controlled and fierce. "I'm not hiding," he says. "I'm preparing." Sasuke's laugh is bitter. "Preparing?" he spits. "While Itachi walks free? While the people who killed my clan sit in your council chamber?" Naruto's jaw tightens. "I'm auditing ROOT, Naruto says. "I'm pulling the archives. I'm dragging the truth into daylight." Sasuke's eyes flare. "When?" he snaps. Naruto's gaze turns to steel. "Now," he says. "Tonight." Sasuke's breath shakes, hope flickering like a flame that wants to go out. "And if you don't?" Sasuke whispers. Naruto's voice is cold. "Then you can hate me," he says. "But you will still be alive." Sasuke jerks his shoulder free, trembling with rage. "I'm not your responsibility," he spits. Naruto's eyes harden. "You are," he says, "because I said so." The words land heavy. Hokage words. Not comforting, not gentle. Final. Final. Naruto turns to A and BU, voice sharp. "Full watch," he orders. 2 squads rotating. No route, no gaps. If Sasuke moves toward the gate, you stop him. Non-lethal if possible. Lethal if absolutely necessary. Sasuke's eyes widen in fury. "You wouldn't." Naruto cuts him off, voice low. "Don't make me," he says. Sasuke stares at him, shaking, then turns away and storms off toward the village. A and BU shadows following like silent chains. Naruto stands alone in the clearing for a moment, breathing hard, mind racing. Tomorrow night is a trap. The man said it like a date on a calendar, and now Naruto has a clock ticking inside his skull. Once per part, 1 mid-roll re-engagement line. If you're still with fanfics in a nutshell, the next move is pure chess, because Naruto has 1 night to expose Danzo before Sasuke walks into the dark. Naruto returns to the tower like a storm. He doesn't waste time. He pulls Shikaku, Inoichi, Ibiki, and Tsunade into a closed room with A and BU sealing the doors. Tsunade arrives with blood still faintly on her knuckles from Tanzaku, eyes sharp, patience thin. Naruto speaks fast, controlled. "A masked man called himself Madara," he says. "He approached Sasuke, offered him a meeting tomorrow night beyond the border, alone." Shikaku exhales slowly. "He's recruiting," he murmurs. Inoichi's eyes narrow, or baiting, he says. Ibiki's expression is grim. "Either way, Sasuke's mind is the battlefield," he says. Tsunade's gaze is cold. "And Danzo is the fuse," she says. Naruto nods once. "I need proof," Naruto says. "Route rosters, detention sites, orders tied to the Uchiha situation. Anything that shows Danzo's hands." Shikaku's eyes sharpen. "We can pull the 3rd sealed archives," he says, "but those are protected." Naruto's gaze turns to steel. "Then we break the protection legally," he says. "I'm Hokage. I can authorize it." Tsunade snorts. "And Danzo will scream treason," she says. Naruto's eyes harden. "Let him," he replies. "I'd rather hear him scream than hear Sasuke scream." They move, fast. A and BU squads split. 1 to monitor Danzo, 1 to locate route safe houses, 1 to secure the archives, 1 to reinforce the village barrier in case the masked man returns. Ibiki prepares interrogation rooms. Inoichi prepares mind-walk protocols. Tsunade prepares medical restraint seals, non-lethal, designed to prevent Sasuke from tearing himself apart if he snaps. Naruto stands at the window for a moment, watching Konoha's rooftops under moonlight. The village looks peaceful. It always looks peaceful right before something breaks. He whispers, not to anyone in the room but to the night itself. "I'm not losing him," Naruto says, and the night doesn't answer. But somewhere in the village, Danzo is already moving in shadows, feeling the audit tightening like a noose. Somewhere else, Sasuke sits awake, staring at the ceiling, hearing tomorrow night whisper his name. And somewhere beyond the border, a man wearing a legend's face waits patiently, confident that hunger always wins, unless Naruto rewrites the ending first. Morning hits Tanzaku town like a slap, bright and loud and completely uninterested in the fact that Naruto hasn't slept. He sits at the edge of the inn's small table, eyes sharp, jaw set, while the last of his shadow clones pop into smoke one by one. Each one dumps pages of medical notes into his mind, pulse points, chakra pathways, nervous system stabilizers, until the inside of his skull feels too full. He steadies himself with one hand on the tabletop and forces a slow breath. He can't afford to wobble today. Orochimaru gave Tsunade a deadline, and Naruto can taste it coming like thunder on the tongue. Shizune is still curled on the bed behind him, finally asleep, the kind of exhausted sleep that only happens after nights spent trying to keep an impossible woman from drinking herself into a ditch. Naruto glances over his shoulder to make sure she's breathing evenly, then returns to the gear spread out in front of him. Kunai, shuriken, senbon, smoke pellets, seals. A bundle of healing ointments he and Shizune made last night, crude but effective. And then the one thing that keeps making his fingers pause, a sealed weapon at his left hip, its presence heavy even when it's quiet. It's powerful. It's also risky. If someone takes it from him, they don't just steal, they steal an advantage. Naruto stares at the seal a long second, then makes the decision he's been circling all night. If the blade is going to exist, it's going to obey him, not the other way around. He closes his eyes and turns inward, pushing his thoughts down into the place where the Nine Tails sits like a furnace behind bars. Hey, Kyuubi, Naruto thinks. A voice answers like sandpaper and sleep deprivation. What do you want, brat? I'm trying to take my morning nap. Naruto's mouth tightens. He'd hoped for the charming, cooperative version of the fox he keeps imagining. Something softer, something easier. Instead, he gets the one that sounds like a commander who's never smiled in his life. I need you to bind your chakra to this weapon, Naruto thinks. Tie my soul to it. Make it so no one else can use it. The fox's laugh rumbles through Naruto's mind like distant thunder. You want me to do you a favor? It's not a favor, Naruto thinks. It's protection. You're hilarious, the fox replies, and I can hear everything you think, so don't start romanticizing me in that dumb way you do. Naruto's cheeks heat, annoyed. He keeps his face calm anyway, because being flustered in front of a demon doesn't help anyone. Fine, just do it. The Nine Tails goes quiet for a moment, like it's weighing the request the way a predator weighs a leap. Then the presence presses forward, hot and immense, and Naruto feels chakra threads, foreign, ancient, violent wrap around the idea of the weapon like chains around a door. There, the fox says, if someone tries to steal it, they'll regret touching it. Naruto exhales slowly, opening his eyes. Good. He finishes sealing his gear back into scrolls and pouches just as Shizune stirs, blinking blearily. She sits up, hair a mess, eyes narrowing when she sees Naruto already geared. You didn't sleep, she says flatly. Naruto shrugs. I can sleep after Kakashi's safe, he replies. Shizune's expression tightens, half respect, half frustration. You can't keep doing this, she says, then softer. But, thank you, for trying. Naruto doesn't answer with words. He just moves to the window and looks out at the street below. People are already moving, laughing, buying food, pretending nothing is wrong. Naruto envies them for about half a second, then hates himself for it. He hears a faint commotion down the road, shouts that don't sound playful. Another ripple of unease that feels too sharp to be normal town noise. He turns back towards Shizune. Where's Jiraiya? He asks. Shizune rubs her eyes. Still out, she mutters. He's been drinking with Tsunade-sama for days. I can't believe he thinks that helps. Naruto's lips twitch. He's trying to get her to drop her guard, Naruto says. It's messy, but it's his style. Shizune stands, pushing hair from her face, and hesitates as if she wants to ask something else. Naruto sees it and answers before she can force the words out. We're not here to beg her, Naruto says. We're here to corner the moment. Orochimaru will show. He'll try to push her. When he does, we make sure her choice isn't made out of fear. Shizune's throat bobs. And if she chooses him, she whispers. Naruto's eyes harden. Then I drag her back anyway, he says. But I'd rather not have to. Shizune studies him, then nods. She doesn't like the answer. She also knows Naruto means it. They leave the inn together and step into the street, and for a moment the town feels almost normal, until Naruto senses something that doesn't belong. He doesn't see it first. He feels it, like cold fingers brushing the back of his neck. His gaze flicks to rooftops, to alleys, to shadows between signs. Somewhere nearby, someone is watching. Naruto keeps walking, face neutral, voice low. He's close, he murmurs. Shizune stiffens. Orochimaru? She asks. Naruto nods slightly. And Kabuto, he adds, because the second presence is quieter but sharper, like a scalpel. Shizune swallows hard. Tsunade-sama said he'd come back in a week, she whispers. Today. Naruto's jaw tightens. Then we don't get surprised, he says. A few streets later, they reach the tavern district, and Naruto's eyes land on the bright flashing sign outside the biggest place in town. It screams money, noise, bad decisions, and worse people. Naruto stops automatically, squinting at it like he's trying to intimidate the sign into changing its mind. Shizune glances at him, confused. What? Naruto grimaces. I'm underage, he blurts, then catches himself and drops his voice. I mean, I'm not supposed to be in places like that. Shizune stares at him for a second, then a small laugh escapes her. Nervous, tired, real. You're a shinobi, she says. You fought S-rank criminals. That doesn't mean I'm supposed to. Naruto starts, then stops because he can already hear Jiraiya's voice in his head calling him dramatic. They go in anyway because the world doesn't pause for rules. The tavern hits like a wall smoke, spilled alcohol, sweat, laughter too loud, eyes too sharp. Naruto keeps his cloak up and his expression calm, scanning for Tsunade. He finds her instantly. Tsunade is at a table like she owns the room, bottle near her hand, eyes half-lidded, posture loose but dangerous. Shizune's shoulders tighten like she's bracing for impact, just seeing her. Naruto keeps his distance watching. Shizune watches too, and Naruto sees the conflict in her face. The affection and the fear, the loyalty and the frustration. Tsunade drinks like she's trying to drown something that keeps resurfacing. Minutes pass. 10, 15. The tavern noise rises and falls like waves. Then Naruto catches movement at the edge of his vision. Jiraiya, stumbling in with that easy grin, acting like a drunk even when his eyes are too alert for real drunkenness. He spots Naruto and Shizune, then slides into a nearby seat like this is all casual. "You kids look miserable," Jiraiya says, voice loud enough to sell the act. Naruto leans in slightly. "He's close," Naruto murmurs. Jiraiya's grin doesn't change. "Yeah," he replies, cheerful as ever. "I smelled snake on the wind when I came in." Shizune's fingers tighten around her cup. "Tsunade-sama won't listen," she whispers. "Not if she's cornered." Jiraiya's eyes flick towards Tsunade, then back. "That's why we let her think she's choosing," he says. Naruto's gaze stays hard. "And if Orochimaru shows?" Naruto says. Jiraiya's grin sharpens a fraction. "Then we stop being polite." Naruto nods once, then shifts slightly, watching Tsunade. She laughs at something a stranger says. It's empty, it doesn't reach her eyes. And then the air changes. Naruto feels it like a knife sliding under the door. Conversations don't stop all at once. They thin. People's shoulders tense. A few patrons glance toward the entrance without knowing why. Orochimaru walks in like he belongs. He doesn't look rushed, he doesn't look worried. He looks like someone who enjoys walking into rooms where everyone wants him dead. Kabuto follows at his side, calm, glasses reflecting lantern light. Shizune's breath catches. Jiraiya's expression stays easy, but Naruto feels the tension in his chakra, coiling like a spring. Orochimaru's gaze sweeps the room and lands on Tsunade. He smiles like the world is a joke only he understands. "Tsunade," he says softly. "Your week is up." Tsunade's eyes narrow, and Naruto sees the twitch in her hand, the smallest tremor she tries to hide. "You're persistent," she says, voice sharp. Orochimaru's smile widens. "I'm patient," he replies. "And I brought an offer worth your time." Kabuto steps forward slightly. "Tsunade-sama," he says politely, as if greeting royalty. "We have everything prepared." Shizune stiffens, ready to move, but Naruto shifts in front of her just enough to block her without touching her. "Not yet. Not until Orochimaru commits." Tsunade leans back, acting bored. "Spit it out," she says. Orochimaru's voice turns gentle, almost intimate. "Your hands," he says. "Your fear. Your nightmares. I can remove them." Tsunade's jaw tightens. "You can't," she snaps. Orochimaru tilts his head. "You know I can," he says. "I can repair what was damaged. I can restore what was stolen." His eyes gleam. "And I can bring back what was lost." The tavern feels smaller suddenly. The air feels tighter. Tsunade's expression flickers, just for a heartbeat. Naruto sees it. Shizune sees it too, and looks like she might be sick. Jiraiya's grin fades. "Don't," he warns, voice low. Orochimaru ignores him. "Dan," he murmurs. "Nawaki." Tsunade's breath stutters. Her fingers clench around the bottle so hard her knuckles pale. Naruto stands. Not fast, not dramatic, just a clean rise that shifts the room's gravity. Orochimaru's eyes slide to him, amused. "Ah," he says, "the boy." Naruto's voice is cold. "Stop saying their names," Naruto says. Orochimaru smiles wider. "Why?" he asks. "Do you want her to keep suffering?" Naruto steps forward, keeping his body between Orochimaru and Tsunade now. "She's suffering because of what happened," Naruto says. "Not because she needs your poison." Orochimaru's gaze stays on Tsunade. "He speaks for you now?" he asks her softly. Tsunade's eyes burn. "He speaks too much," she snarls, but her voice lacks its usual certainty. Naruto hears the crack. Orochimaru hears it too. Kabuto moves subtly, one step to the side, lining up angles, preparing. Naruto notices, and his own hand drifts toward a seal without drawing attention. He's ready. Orochimaru's tone stays calm, persuasive. "Join me," he says. "Help me, and I will give you them back. Real, whole, whole." Shizune's voice breaks out despite herself. "He's lying," she snaps, fear and anger mixing. "Tsunade-sama, hey?" Kabuto's hand flicks. A thin needle flashes through the air toward Shizune's throat. Naruto moves on instinct, shoulder slamming into Shizune and knocking her down as the needle whips past where her neck was. It hits the wooden wall behind them with a tiny click. The tavern erupts. People scream and scatter. Chairs scrape. Bottles shatter. The smell of alcohol spikes as chaos blooms. Jiraiya moves like a weapon finally unsheathed. His smile is gone now. "Kabuto," he growls. Orochimaru's eyes gleam. "So fragile," he murmurs. One needle and the room becomes honest. Tsunade rises slowly, rage rolling off her like heat. "You did that on purpose," she snarls. Orochimaru's smile doesn't change. "Of course," he says, "because hesitation kills." Naruto's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. "Outside," he orders, "now." He doesn't wait for agreement. He moves first, driving toward open air, and Jiraiya follows like a shadow. Tsunade storms after them, Shizune scrambling up, trembling but alive. The tavern empties into the street in a panic wave, people running, shouting, stumbling over each other. Orochimaru steps out last, unhurried, like he enjoys watching fear spread. The street becomes a battlefield in seconds. Jiraiya lunges for Kabuto first, because Kabuto is the quiet one, the precision killer. Kabuto meets him with glowing chakra blades, slicing at tendons and nerves with surgeon accuracy. Jiraiya's movements tighten, forced into a dangerous dance. Naruto creates a burst of shadow clones, not a flood controlled, purposeful. They spread to push civilians back, form a perimeter, keep collateral low. A few move to Shizune, shielding her. Tsunade takes one step toward Orochimaru, hands glowing faintly with healing chakra, eyes feral. "You don't get to say their names," she hisses. Orochimaru smiles. "Then strike me," he says softly, "or accept my offer." Tsunade's hands tremble. Naruto catches it. He steps close enough to speak without turning it into a performance. "Breathe," he says quietly. "Look at me, not the blood, not the ghosts." Tsunade's eyes flick to him, furious at being seen. "Don't talk to me like I'm weak," she snaps. Naruto's gaze holds steady. "You're not weak," he replies. "You're wounded, and you're letting him press the wound." Orochimaru watches, irritation flickering behind his calm. Naruto is interfering with the hook. Kabuto's blade catches Jiraiya's sleeve and tears fabric. Jiraiya snarls, forced back half a step. Naruto shifts his attention split. Battlefield scanning, threat mapping, emotional anchoring. He hates that he has to do all of this at once. He does it anyway. Orochimaru's hands begin forming signs. Naruto's instincts scream. Something heavier is coming. Something meant to end the conversation violently. Tsunade moves first. She crosses the distance with raw speed and power, fist slamming into Orochimaru's chest like a cannon. The impact cracks the street. The air pops. Orochimaru's body launches backward through a wall in a spray of splinters and dust. For a heartbeat, the world freezes around the shock. Then Tsunade turns, eyes blazing, and storms toward the collapsing rubble like she's ready to punch him until he stops being a problem forever. Naruto's clones tighten the perimeter, holding civilians back as debris falls. Naruto himself starts forward and catches a glimpse of Tsunade's trembling fingers. She's moving on rage right now. Rage is loud, rage is fast, rage burns out. Orochimaru steps out of the rubble smiling, like he enjoyed being hit. "Well," he murmurs, brushing dust from his cloak, "since you won't be healed the nice way, I'll simply make sure you can't heal anyone else." Tsunade's face twists. "Get back here," she snarls. Orochimaru and Kabuto retreat with impossible agility. Wall, rooftop, tree, always just out of reach. Tsunade follows like a wrecking ball, smashing through obstacles instead of going around them, each impact leaving craters in her wake. Naruto watches her chase and feels the problem immediately. She's spending chakra on anger. She's burning herself out punching walls and air. Orochimaru isn't running because he's afraid. He's running because he wants her tired. He wants her sloppy. He wants her fear to resurface when her rage fades. Naruto sprints after her, then stops himself. He can't commit fully yet. If he charges blindly, Orochimaru gets exactly what he wants. Everyone isolated, everyone exhausted, everyone breakable. Naruto needs eyes on the chase without sacrificing the real body. So Naruto makes the call that feels like cheating and survival at the same time. He sends a shadow clone after Tsunade. The clone moves fast, trailing far enough back to avoid being dragged into her line of fire, close enough to keep the path memorized. Naruto stays behind, grounding the situation, keeping civilians safe and tracking Jiraiya's fight with Kabuto. Tsunade's voice echoes down the street as she crashes through another barrier. "I won't thank you for this, brat," she snaps at the clone without even turning, "so shut up." The clone doesn't argue. It just keeps following, quietly marking direction. Progress is progress. If Tsunade is moving toward Konoha instead of away from it, that's progress. If she's choosing to fight Orochimaru instead of folding, that's progress too, even if she's doing it like a storm. Naruto stays behind long enough to see Jiraiya finally force Kabuto off balance with a heavy strike, disrupting his chakra flow. Kabuto retreats, annoyed, regrouping. The street is half cleared now, civilians push back, ANBU arriving in distant flashes to secure the area. Naruto breathes once, steadying himself. Then he moves. He takes to the rooftops, faster than the street chase, cutting angles, reading the flow of the fight from above. The clone's trail in his mind acts like a compass. He follows it, quiet, focused, and as he moves, he lets his body shift, dropping the casual, boyish presence that people still keep expecting from him. He slides into a more dangerous calm, a true form, not a disguise, a discipline. A posture that feels like the samurai stories, straight-backed, centered, built for decisive cuts rather than wild punches. Naruto lands on a roof edge and looks out at the direction Tsunade and Orochimaru vanished. He whispers to himself, voice low, "Guess I better go after them." His gaze sharpens. It was a good idea to send a clone to track them instead of rushing in blind. Then he feels it, two new presences dropping into the area behind him. Familiar. Heavy. Urgent. Jiraiya and Shizune land on a nearby rooftop, both breathing hard. Jiraiya's face is grim now, no humor left. Shizune's hands tremble, but her eyes are fierce. Jiraiya looks at Naruto's posture and understands immediately. "You're serious," he mutters. Naruto doesn't look away from the chase path. "This is the real fight," he says. Shizune swallows. "Tsunade-sama," she starts. Naruto's voice is steady. "She's chasing," he says, "and Orochimaru is leading." Jiraiya's jaw tightens. "Then we cut him off," he says. Naruto nods once, slow and final. "Yeah," he replies, "we cut him off." Somewhere ahead, Tsunade's rage keeps shaking the earth. Somewhere ahead, Orochimaru keeps smiling, measuring how much chakra she burns with every useless impact. And somewhere ahead, the real showdown is about to begin. 3 legends and a monster, all moving off the beaten path where civilians can't scream loud enough to be used. Once per part, one mid-roll re-engagement line, stay with fanfics in a nutshell, because the next stretch is the Sannin showdown, and one wrong choice turns this into a massacre. Naruto tightens his cloak and steps off the rooftop into a sprint, the wind snapping past his face. Jiraiya follows. Shizune follows. And in Naruto's mind, his shadow clone's path is a glowing line leading straight into the forest. Straight into the moment Orochimaru has been waiting for. The forest swallows the town's noise the moment Naruto crosses the tree line. Lantern light dies behind them. The air cools. The ground turns uneven, roots and stones ready to twist ankles for free. Naruto moves anyway like the forest is an old enemy he already understands. His shadow clone's memory sits in the back of his mind like a trail of glowing footprints. Tsunade's path of shattered trunks and cratered earth, Orochimaru's path of deliberate leading. Every broken branch is a breadcrumb. Every smear of dust is a message. Jiraiya is right behind him, breathing steady now, his earlier fatigue replaced by a predator's focus. Shizune keeps pace in shorter bursts, pushing through fear with sheer loyalty, her medic bag bouncing against her hip like a heartbeat. The deeper they go, the quieter it gets, and that quiet doesn't feel natural, it feels engineered. Like the forest itself is holding its breath. Naruto slows at a ridge and drops into a crouch, palm hovering above the ground. He feels the chakra in the soil, not a flood. Not a trap array like the ones Chunin use. Something subtler, a thin film of wrongness. Jiraiya lands beside him, eyes narrowed. "He's marking the terrain," Jiraiya murmurs, guiding her into a place that favors him. Naruto's jaw tightens. "He's trying to break her," Naruto says, voice low. "Not kill her. Break her." Shizune swallows hard. "He'll use blood," she whispers. Naruto's eyes sharpen. "Then we don't let him control the first drop," Naruto replies. They move again, faster, and the trail becomes louder. Trees snap like bones, chunks of earth ripped from the ground. The occasional crater where Tsunade's fist met something that wasn't Orochimaru and still paid the price. Naruto feels it in his chest. Tsunade is burning through rage like fuel. Rage keeps her upright. Rage also drains her. Then they hear it. A dull boom, distant but heavy, like a giant slamming a door in the sky. Tsunade. Naruto accelerates. They crest another ridge and the forest opens into a wide clearing surrounded by tall trunks and a small rocky outcropping. The ground is torn up as if a battle already happened here. Dust hangs in the air in thin sheets. And at the center of it all, Tsunade stands with her shoulders squared, breathing hard, fists clenched. Her knuckles are stained, not drenched, but enough. Across from her, Orochimaru stands calm as ever, pale hair drifting, smile thin. Kabuto is nearby, steady, hands loose at his sides, eyes cold behind his glasses. The whole scene looks like a stage where the actors have already rehearsed the ending. Naruto lands at the edge of the clearing. Jiraiya lands beside him. Shizune hangs back slightly, eyes locked on Tsunade like she's afraid the woman will shatter if she blinks. Orochimaru's gaze flicks toward Naruto and Jiraiya, amused. "You followed," he says softly. "Good, it saves me time." Jiraiya's voice is a growl. "What are you doing here, Orochimaru?" Orochimaru smiles wider. "Offering a gift," he says, eyes sliding to Tsunade. "And taking one." Tsunade's breathing shakes. "I already gave you my answer," she snarls. Orochimaru tilts his head. "Answers change," he murmurs, "especially when pain returns." Kabuto steps forward half a pace. "Tsunade-sama," he says politely. "Your hands were damaged. Your fear is still there. You can't heal Konoha forever in that state." "You know that." Tsunade's fingers twitch. Naruto sees it. Her hands want to shake, but she forces them into fists to hide it. The blood on her knuckles is drying. The scent is faint, but it's enough. Naruto steps forward, voice cold. "Stop pushing," Naruto says. "You're not here to negotiate." Orochimaru's eyes gleam. "Of course not," he replies. "Negotiation is for equals." The insult is aimed at Naruto, but it slides off. Naruto doesn't react. His mind is already mapping the clearing. The rocky outcropping to the left could be cover. The tree line is thick enough for clones to move unseen. The ground is wrong. Naruto feels it again, stronger now. Chakra threaded under the soil like veins. Jiraiya feels it too. His gaze hardens. "You laid seals," he says. Orochimaru smiles. "A precaution," he replies. "I dislike interruptions." Tsunade snaps, voice fierce. "Then stop talking and fight me." Orochimaru's smile widens as if she just said exactly what he wanted. "Gladly," he murmurs. He moves, not lunging, not rushing. Orochimaru slides forward like a shadow, and the ground beneath Tsunade's feet flares with a faint pulse. Tsunade's eyes widen as the soil grabs at her ankles, not physically, but with chakra pressure that locks her movement for a fraction of a second. A fraction is enough. Orochimaru's hand snaps out towards Tsunade's forearm. Naruto reacts instantly, wind chakra tightening, body moving. Jiraiya's hand catches Naruto's sleeve hard. "No," Jiraiya hisses. "He wants you on that seal field." Naruto grits his teeth and stops mid-step, forcing discipline. Tsunade twists her torso and rips free of the lock with brute force, the ground cracking as her chakra slams outward like a hammer. She swings a fist that would pulp stone. Orochimaru slips under it. His sleeve brushes her skin. A tiny cut appears on Tsunade's wrist. Thin red beads up. Tsunade freezes, not fully, not collapsing. But the tremor hits and her breath catches like she's choking. Orochimaru's smile turns satisfied. "There it is," he murmurs. Shizune's voice breaks. "Tsunade-sama." Tsunade's eyes flick down at the blood, and fear surges like a wave. Naruto sees her shoulders tense, sees her fingers twitch, sees the panic trying to climb her spine and take the wheel. Naruto moves, this time not toward Orochimaru, but toward Tsunade. He doesn't step onto the seal field. He skirts the edge, fast, controlled, and slides into Tsunade's peripheral vision like an anchor. "Look at me," Naruto says sharply, "not the blood." Tsunade's eyes jerk to him, furious, terrified, both at once. "Get away," she rasps. Naruto doesn't. He lowers his voice. "Breathe," he says. "You're here, you're standing. Fear is loud. But it's not stronger than you." Tsunade's jaw clenches. Her hands tremble. Her eyes squeeze shut for half a second, as if she's trying to crush a memory. Orochimaru watches with irritation now. Naruto is interrupting the collapse again. Kabuto moves. Quiet, efficient, towards Shizune, aiming to remove the one person Tsunade still cares about openly. Naruto sees it out of the corner of his eye. He flicks a kunai without looking. It pins Kabuto's sleeve to a tree trunk, forcing Kabuto to twist free. Kabuto's eyes narrow, annoyed. "Good reflexes," he says softly. Naruto's voice doesn't change. "Stay away from her," Naruto replies, and he doesn't even specify who her is. Kabuto knows. That's what makes Kabuto dangerous. He understands emotional anatomy better than physical. Jiraiya steps forward, finally committing. "Orochimaru," he growls, "you wanted me here? You've got me." Orochimaru's gaze slides to Jiraiya with a lazy smile. "Yes," he says, "I do." He claps his hands together. The ground flares. And suddenly the clearing's perimeter lights with thin chakra lines, seals forming a ring, a barrier of pressure that hums faintly in the air. Not a visible wall, but a boundary you can feel. Naruto's skin prickles the moment it snaps into place. Shizune gasps. "A barrier," Jiraiya's eyes narrow. "You're isolating us." Orochimaru's smile widens. "I prefer privacy," he murmurs. Naruto's mind goes cold, calculating. A barrier means reinforcements can't rush in. It means Orochimaru can do something ugly without witnesses. It also means Naruto can't simply pull Tsunade and retreat easily. They're in the pit now. Naruto creates clones, not a flood. Precision. 10, then 20. They fan out to probe the barrier, to test the seal lines, to find the weak points. The first clone touches the boundary and is flung back, dispersing in a burst of smoke. Naruto absorbs the feedback. The barrier is tied to the seal network under the ground. Break the network. The barrier drops. Naruto's gaze snaps to the soil. He needs a strike that disrupts the pattern without collapsing the entire clearing on them. Kabuto tears free of the pinned sleeve and moves again, faster now, hands glowing with medical chakra blades. He goes for Naruto, directly this time, trying to cut down the commander. Remove the anchor. Naruto steps aside, barely, and a blade grazes his cloak. He counters with a palm strike laced with wind chakra that doesn't cut flesh but disrupts balance. Kabuto slides back, boots carving furrows in the dirt, eyes narrowing with interest. "You're adapting," Kabuto says. Naruto's voice is flat. "You're stalling," he replies. Kabuto smiles faintly. "Yes," he admits. Naruto's blood turns cold. Stalling means Orochimaru's timing is tied to something. Something is coming. Tsunade's breath shudders as she forces herself to keep looking at Naruto instead of her own blood. Her hands tremble violently, but she clenches them harder, nails biting into skin. Naruto sees her fighting herself more than Orochimaru. Orochimaru circles her slowly like a patient predator. "You want to save them," he murmurs. "But you can't even save yourself." Tsunade's voice cracks with rage. "Shut up." Orochimaru's smile sharpens. "You're a genius," he says softly. "A medical prodigy. A senju. Yet you're crippled by a memory." His eyes gleam. "Join me, and I erase it." Naruto's voice cuts in sharp. "He can't erase grief," Naruto says. "He can only replace it with something worse." Orochimaru's gaze flicks to Naruto. "And you think you're qualified to speak about grief?" he asks, almost amused. Naruto's jaw tightens. "I buried the third Hokage," Naruto says. "I buried people who died protecting me when they didn't even like me." His eyes harden. "I know grief, and I know what happens when you run from it." Tsunade's eyes flicker, the words slipping under her armor. Orochimaru watches the flicker and tightens his approach. "If you come with me," he says to Tsunade, voice low, "I will bring Dan back. I will bring Nawaki back. Not as shadows, not as memories. Real." Tsunade's breath catches hard. The tremor spikes. Naruto steps closer to Tsunade again, voice steady but fierce. "Even if he could," Naruto says, "he would never bring them back the way you remember. He would bring back puppets. He would make them say whatever keeps you obedient. That's not love." Tsunade's eyes blaze for a heartbeat, anger returning. "Don't use their names," she snarls at Orochimaru. Orochimaru smiles as if she's already halfway in his hand. "Then give me your hands," he murmurs, "and I will give you theirs." Kabuto lunges again, forcing Naruto to shift back, pulling attention away from Tsunade just long enough for Orochimaru to slide closer. Tsunade's hand twitches, fear threatening to snap her into stillness again. Jiraiya slams into Orochimaru's path with a heavy strike, forcing Orochimaru to leap back. "Enough," Jiraiya growls. "You're not taking her." Orochimaru lands lightly, expression annoyed now. "You're always so sentimental," he murmurs. "It's why you lose." Jiraiya forms signs, chakra swelling. "I don't need to win," he says. "I need you gone." Orochimaru's eyes gleam. "Then try," he says. The clearing erupts. Jiraiya charges Orochimaru with brutal speed, weaving between seal pulses, forcing Orochimaru away from Tsunade. Orochimaru counters with snakes, fast, sharp, black streaks that lash like whips. Jiraiya dodges, burns some with chakra, slams others into the ground. Naruto is locked with Kabuto now, a quiet war of precision. Kabuto's chakra blades aim for nerves, tendons, and blood vessels, non-gory, efficient disabling. Naruto's counters are blunt but smart, wind pressure to disrupt, feints with clones, small seals that detonate in bursts of air to create space. Tsunade stands in the center for a heartbeat, shaking. The blood on her wrist tries to pull her under. The battle around her tries to overwhelm her senses. And she hates herself for it. Naruto sees her hesitate and makes a decision that risks everything. He throws himself into Tsunade's line of sight again, taking a glancing cut from Kabuto's blade across his upper arm. It's not deep. It's enough to draw blood, enough to be real. Pain flashes hot. Tsunade's eyes snap to the red instantly, fear spiking. Then her gaze locks on Naruto's face. Not panicked, not begging, just steady, stubborn, refusing to break. Naruto's voice is low. "This is blood," he says, "not a death sentence." Tsunade's breath stutters. Her hands tremble violently. Naruto leans closer, voice sharper. If you freeze, they win, he says. If you move, you save someone. Tsunade's throat tightens. Her eyes flicker with something raw. Memories of Dan collapsing, Nawaki's broken body, the helplessness that poisoned her hands for years. She tastes that helplessness now like bile. And she hates it. She hates it so much, her fear cracks under the pressure of her own rage. Tsunade's breathing steadies barely. Her hands stop trembling for one impossible second. Then she moves. She steps into the blood instead of away from it. Her palm slams onto Naruto's wounded arm, medical chakra blooming like a warm light through storm clouds. The cut seals instantly, skin knitting clean. Tsunade's jaw clenches, eyes wide, not from fear, but from shock at herself. She did it. She touched blood and didn't collapse. A laugh almost escapes her, short, disbelieving, but it turns into a snarl as she whips toward Orochimaru. Orochimaru sees it and his smile falters for the first real moment, not because he's scared, because the hook slipped. Tsunade's eyes blaze. "You don't owe my grief," she snarls, "and you don't get to sell me fake miracles." Orochimaru's expression tightens. "So you choose pain," he says softly. Tsunade steps forward like an avalanche. "I choose reality," she snaps. She launches at him with monstrous speed. Orochimaru meets her with something darker. His own body shifting, stretching in a way that makes the air feel wrong. He slides away, snakes erupting from his sleeves, wrapping for Tsunade's wrists. Tsunade breaks them with brute force, snapping them like ropes. She punches. Orochimaru dodges by a hair, the fist smashing into the ground and cracking the earth. Naruto's clones surge, swarming the seal lines again, trying to disrupt the barrier. One clone finds a node, an anchor point, near the rocky outcropping. It slams a Rasengan into the soil. The ground pulses violently. The barrier flickers. Naruto feels it through the clone and snatches his head up. "There," he mutters, "break the anchors." He sends 5 clones to that spot, all carrying Rasengan, all aiming to strike in succession. Kabuto tries to intercept, but Naruto steps in hard, forcing Kabuto back with a wind-laced palm strike that disrupts Kabuto's footing. Kabuto slides, eyes narrowing. "You're protecting the clones," he observes. Naruto's voice is flat. "I'm breaking your cage," he replies. Kabuto's smile is thin. "Then I'll break your legs," he murmurs, and lunges again. Naruto meets him head-on, the fight tightening into dangerous closeness. Kabuto's chakra blades sweep toward Naruto's thigh. Naruto twists, letting the blade slice cloth instead of flesh, then slams his elbow into Kabuto's ribs. Kabuto grunts, controlled, flipping back, never losing balance for long. The clones strike the first anchor with Rasengan. The ground erupts in a tight spiral. The barrier flickers stronger this time, humming unstable. Orochimaru's eyes snap toward the disruption, annoyance flashing. "Kabuto," he calls sharply. Kabuto's gaze flicks toward Orochimaru, just a fraction too long. Naruto takes the opening and drives a wind-charged strike into Kabuto's shoulder, not cutting skin, but jamming the joint with pressure. Kabuto's arm goes numb for a heartbeat and he retreats, scowling. Naruto's clones strike again. Another anchor breaks. The barrier shivers, visible now as a faint shimmer in the air like heat haze. Jiraiya, still dueling Orochimaru's shifting form, catches the change and grins pure teeth. "Good," he growls. "Keep going." Orochimaru retreats a step, expression tightening. "So stubborn," he murmurs. "All of you." Tsunade slams forward again, fist aimed for Orochimaru's jaw. Orochimaru catches her wrist, his grip unnaturally strong, and smiles close to her face. "If you stay in Konoha," he whispers, "they'll die anyway." Tsunade's eyes burn. "Maybe," she snarls. "But at least I'll be there to fight." She twists her arm, breaks his grip, and headbutts him. Hard. Orochimaru stumbles back, surprised more by her ferocity than the pain. Naruto's clones strike the third anchor. The barrier falters like a dying heartbeat. Shizune, who has been staying behind the perimeter, suddenly sees an opening in the flicker and sprints towards Tsunade, medic kit ready, not to fight, just to be near her when she falls, if she falls. Orochimaru notices and his eyes gleam with fresh cruelty. He flicks a small blade towards Shizune, not to kill, but to cut, to spill blood, to trigger Tsunade's fear again. Naruto sees it and moves like lightning, throwing a kunai that knocks the blade aside mid-air. The blade deflects and slices a tree trunk instead. Shizune freezes, eyes wide, then keeps moving, shaking but determined. Naruto's chest tightens. Orochimaru is still playing the same game, blood as leverage. Naruto creates 3 more clones and sends them to the last anchor point, deeper under the outcropping. Kabuto tries to dash past Naruto to stop them, but Naruto steps into his path like a wall, wind chakra humming tight around his forearms. Kabuto's eyes narrow. "You're improving," he says quietly. Naruto's voice is cold. "You're running out of options," he replies. Kabuto's smile is faint. Options are infinite, he murmurs. People aren't. He lunges again, blade aimed for Naruto's throat. Naruto blocks with forearm and wind pressure, the air between them screeching as chakra meets chakra. Naruto shoves Kabuto back and kicks low, forcing Kabuto to jump. Naruto's foot sweeps through the space Kabuto was about to land in, forcing Kabuto to twist awkwardly. It's not a win, it's time. The clones slam Rasengan into the last anchor. The ground explodes upward in a tight spiral of dirt and shattered stone. The barrier shatters. It doesn't break quietly, it fractures like glass, shards of chakra light flickering for a second before vanishing into the air. The clearing suddenly feels bigger. The world breathes again. The forest noise returns in a rush, wind, insects, distant birds, as if reality itself was released. Orochimaru's eyes narrow, annoyance flashing into something colder. Fine, he murmurs. If you insist on making this public. Jiraiya steps forward, voice low. It's over, he growls. Leave. Orochimaru smiles slowly. You misunderstand, he replies. This was never about winning. His gaze slides to Tsunade. It was about proving you can be manipulated. Tsunade's fists clench. You failed, she snarls. Orochimaru's smile turns thin. Did I? He asks. Kabuto, breathing hard, adjusts his glasses, eyes cold. We learned what we needed, he says quietly. Naruto's skin prickles. What did you learn? He demands. Orochimaru's gaze slides to Naruto with amused cruelty. That your village is already broken, he says softly. All I have to do is press the right fractures. Naruto's eyes go cold. Try, he says. Orochimaru's smile widens slightly, then he forms a single sign and his body seems to blur, not teleporting but slipping away like a snake through a crack. Kabuto backs with him, moving fast, controlled, retreating toward the tree line. Jiraiya starts forward, but Naruto raises a hand, stopping him. Don't chase, Naruto says sharply, not into his prepared routes. Jiraiya's jaw tightens, but he listens. Tsunade takes a half step as if she might ignore Naruto and go anyway, then stops, breathing hard, fists still clenched. Her eyes are furious, but she's still standing, still in control. Blood still on her wrist, and she hasn't collapsed. Shizune reaches her side, hands hovering, afraid to touch the blood. Tsunade sees her hesitation and, with a grim little exhale, wipes her own wrist clean with the heel of her hand. Stop shaking, Tsunade snaps at Shizune, but her voice lacks cruelty now. It's almost protective. Shizune's eyes fill, and she nods, swallowing hard. Naruto turns, scanning the forest beyond the clearing. The air feels wrong in a different way now, like Orochimaru left something behind that isn't visible. A lingering poison. Jiraiya steps beside Naruto, voice low. He left too easily, he murmurs. Naruto nods. He wanted the message, Naruto replies. Tsunade wipes her hands again, breathing steadier. What message? She asks, voice harsh. Naruto looks at her, then at Jiraiya, then back to the direction Orochimaru vanished. That he can still walk into our lives whenever he wants, Naruto says, and that he's watching what we do with Sasuke. Jiraiya's eyes sharpen. He knows about the Uchiha fracture, he mutters. Naruto's jaw tightens. Or he suspects, Naruto says. Either way, he'll use it. Tsunade's gaze turns cold. Then we cut the fracture out, she says bluntly. Naruto exhales slowly. We don't cut people out, he replies. We fix the system that keeps hurting them. Tsunade studies him, then snorts. Idealistic, she mutters. Naruto's eyes harden. Necessary, he replies. They move back toward Konoha quickly after that, not celebrating, not talking much. The forest feels less like a battlefield now, and more like a corridor leading back to the real war politics, secrets, boys with rage in their blood, and monsters wearing legends for masks. Once per part, one mid-roll re-engagement line. If you're still locked in with fanfics in a nutshell, keep going, because the next scene isn't fists and jutsu, it's truth cutting deeper than any blade. By the time they reach the village gate, dusk is starting to bruise the sky purple. The guards straighten at the sight of Naruto returning with Tsunade and Jiraiya, and Naruto doesn't slow for questions. He moves straight to the tower. Inside, the air feels tense, not panicked. Tight, like people have been whispering all day and trying not to let the whispers become screams. A and BU shadow him in silence, and one steps close to speak in a low voice. Hokage-sama, the A and BU reports. Danzo has been seen moving between old Oro-Uchi contact points. He's mobilizing. Naruto's eyes go cold. And Sasuke? Naruto asks instantly. The A and BU's pause is half a heartbeat too long. Naruto's stomach drops. Answer, he snaps. Sasuke Uchiha remained under watch, the A and BU says quickly. Until an hour ago, he requested air. He moved to the compound roof. He spoke to someone at the perimeter. Naruto's blood turns to ice. Someone, he repeats. We couldn't identify, the ANBU admits. No chakra signature, no footsteps, just a presence. Naruto's jaw tightens so hard it hurts. The masked man again. Or a method like him. Something that slips through systems. Naruto storms into the office and slams the door shut, then turns immediately to Shikaku and Inoichi, who are already there, faces grim. Ibiki stands by the window, arms crossed, expression like a storm cloud. Shikaku's voice is calm but heavy. We pulled what we could, he says. The archives. Root fragments. Enough to suggest what you already suspect. Inoichi's eyes are sharp, tired. Danzo's fingerprints are all over the old Uchiha containment discussions, he says, but he scrubbed the cleanest proof. Naruto's chest tightens. Not enough, he mutters. Ibiki's voice is low. Enough to start a fire, he says. Not enough to control it. Naruto turns to Tsunade, who stands near the door, arms folded, eyes cold. How's Kakashi? Naruto asks. Tsunade's voice is blunt. Stable, she says. Sleeping. He'll wake eventually. He'll be weaker for a while. Her gaze narrows. But he'll live. Naruto nods once. Relief tries to surface. He crushes it down because the timing is wrong. He steps towards Shikaku. Sasuke spoke to something at the perimeter, Naruto says. If that masked man told him to meet tomorrow night, Shikaku's eyes narrow. Then Sasuke is already halfway gone, he says. Inoichi's jaw tightens. His mind is a storm right now, he murmurs. If he believes the village murdered his clan, he'll rationalize anything. Naruto's eyes go cold. Then we don't wait for tomorrow, Naruto says. Ibiki's brow lifts slightly. What are you planning? He asks. Naruto's voice drops, controlled and fierce. We pull Sasuke into a sealed room tonight, Naruto says. We tell him the truth. He pauses. All of it. Silence hits the office like a weight. Tsunade snorts. That's going to explode, she mutters. Naruto's gaze stays steady. It's already exploding, he replies. I'd rather be holding the bomb than letting some masked liar throw it at him. Shikaku exhales slowly. If you tell him, he warns, you must control the next hour, the next day, his next instinct. He'll want to kill someone. Naruto nods once. I know, he says. Inoichi steps closer. And if he's already compromised, he says quietly, then he might run anyway. Naruto's jaw tightens. Then we stop him, Naruto says. Non-lethal, but absolute. A knock hits the door hard. ANBU, Naruto snaps his head. Report, he orders. The ANBU steps in, mask angled down, voice tight. Hokage-sama, the ANBU says. Sasuke Uchiha is no longer in the compound. The words slice clean through the room. Naruto's blood turns to ice, then heat. Where? Naruto demands. The ANBU swallows. We found his guard squad unconscious, the ANBU says. No visible wounds. Chakra disrupted. And, a pause. The gate patrol reported a shadow moving through the trees beyond the borderline. They couldn't pursue without orders. Naruto's fists clench, trembling with controlled fury. Shikaku's voice is grim. He's gone, he says. Inoichi's face tightens. And if he meets that man alone, he whispers. Naruto turns sharply toward the window, staring out at the village lights as if he can see through trees and miles and destiny itself. Tsunade's voice is low, cold. You have about one night, she says, maybe less. Naruto's jaw tightens and his voice comes out like steel drawn from a sheath. Then we move now, he says. He grabs his cloak, already forming shadow clones in his mind, already hearing the forest in his ears. Because the next time Sasuke hears a voice offering him truth, it won't be in Konoha. It'll be in the dark, and Naruto is not letting him walk into that dark alone. The village doesn't sleep when a Uchiha disappears. It goes quiet in the wrong way. Doors shut a little faster, lanterns dim earlier, patrol routes tighten like a net. And high above it all, the Hokage tower becomes a nerve center where every whisper is treated like a weapon. Naruto stands over a map spread across his desk, knuckles planted on the wood, eyes locked on the borderline like he's staring at a wound. The room is packed tight with people who matter. Shikaku calm but grim, Inoichi already running mental calculations, Ibiki stone, faced and eager to put hands on throats if needed, Tsunade arms crossed, gaze sharp, almost angry at the idea of failure. Shizune pale but steady and a ring of ANBU waiting for orders. Naruto doesn't waste time on speeches. He left through the northern tree line, Naruto says. No alarms, no barrier trigger. Shikaku nods slowly, meaning either the barrier is bypassed, he says, or someone with clearance manipulated it. Naruto's eyes narrow. Root, he says. Tsunade scoffs. Of course, she mutters. Danzo doesn't even need to touch the kid to poison him. Inoichi's voice is tight. Sasuke's mental state is fragile, he says. If the masked man spoke to him again, Sasuke might not even see this as running. He'll see it as destiny. Naruto's jaw clenches. Then we break Destiny's knees, he says flatly. Ibiki's mouth twitches. Practical, he says, approving. Naruto turns to A and BU. I want 3 search vectors, he orders. 1 squad tracking physical signs, 1 squad tracking chakra anomalies, 1 squad moving ahead to intercept likely meeting points. A and BU nod in perfect unison. Shikaku steps closer, tapping the map. If the masked man said tomorrow night beyond the border, he likely chose a location with good concealment and an escape route, he says. Valleys, old ruins, river bends. Naruto's eyes narrow. We can't guess wrong, he says. Tsunade's voice is blunt. Then don't guess, she says. Hunt. Naruto nods, then forms shadow clones in a burst. 10 at first, then 20, then 40. Each one taking a slip of the map, each one receiving a direct command. They vanish out of the tower like arrows released from a bow. Shizune watches, stunned by the efficiency. You're using clones like dispatch runners, she murmurs. Naruto doesn't look at her. Clones are time, he says, and time is blood. Inoichi's gaze sharpens. If you make too many, he warns, the feedback could destabilize you when they disperse. Naruto's voice is flat. I'll endure it, he says. Tsunade snorts. Stubborn, she mutters. Naruto finally looks at her. Alive, he replies. He turns to Shikaku. You're running village defense with my blood clone, Naruto says. No route autonomy. Any movement from Danzo gets flagged. If he tries to block this search, I want to know. Shikaku nods once. Understood. Naruto turns to Tsunade. You stay here, he says. Tsunade's eyes flare. Don't. Naruto cuts her off with a look. Kakashi's stable, not safe, Naruto says. If anything goes wrong, you're the only reason he lives. And if Sasuke comes back hurt, you're the only reason he doesn't die. Tsunade's jaw clenches. She hates being pinned down by logic, but she can't argue with it. Fine, she spits. But if you bring that kid back half dead, I'll punch you too. Naruto's lips twitch, not quite a smile. Deal, he says. Then he turns and leaves the tower like a storm in human form. Outside the village walls, the forest feels colder. The moon is a thin blade overhead. The trees stand like silent witnesses. Naruto moves fast, feet barely touching ground, A and BU shadows trailing behind him. He doesn't talk, he doesn't waste breath. His mind is locked on Sasuke's face. The rage, the fracture, the way he whispered tomorrow, like it was a prayer. Naruto hates that word. Tomorrow is where people hide promises. Tomorrow is where cowards put responsibility. Naruto refuses tomorrow. He sprints through the northern tree line scanning for signs. Broken branches, scuffed soil, a disturbed leaf pattern. The A and BU squad tracking physical signs moves ahead, silent, precise. Naruto's clones fan out across the forest like hunting dogs. Minutes pass. Then a clone pops. Naruto staggers for half a second as a burst of sensory feedback hits footprints near a creek, faint chakra residue, a torn strip of cloth caught on bark. Sasuke's path. Naruto adjusts direction immediately. They follow the creek, moving low, fast, controlled. The forest deepens. The air thickens with moisture. Naruto's skin prickles with a faint sense of being watched, not like Orochimaru's presence, but something colder. Something that doesn't breathe like a normal person. Another clone pops. Naruto absorbs the memory, a shadow moving between trees, too smooth, no sound. A faint ripple in the air like reality bending. A whisper caught on the wind, Sasuke's voice, shaky. Naruto's blood turns to ice. Contact, Naruto whispers. A and BU tighten formation. They crest a small ridge and see the clearing below. It's not a clearing in the usual sense. It's an old broken stone circle, ruins of something ancient, half swallowed by moss and roots. The kind of place people avoid because old chakra lingers in the cracks. And at the center, Sasuke stands alone. His shoulders are rigid. His hands tremble. His Sharingan is active. Eyes scanning the darkness like he's waiting for something to step out and tell him who he is. The moonlight paints him pale and sharp. Naruto's chest tightens. He wants to shout Sasuke's name. He doesn't. Not yet. Because Sasuke isn't alone for long. The air bends. A figure materializes at the edge of the stone circle like a shadow choosing to take shape. Masked. Calm. One visible eye gleaming like a blade. Sasuke's breath catches hard. You came, Sasuke whispers. The man's voice is quiet, satisfied. Of course, he says. You chose. Naruto's muscles lock. He watches from the tree line, hidden, because this is the second most dangerous moment. The first was when Sasuke left. The second is when Sasuke believes he did it for a reason. The man steps closer to Sasuke, voice smooth. Tell me, he says softly, what do you want? Sasuke's voice is raw. Truth, he says. Everything. The man chuckles. Then listen carefully, he says. Your brother was ordered to kill the Uchiha by your village leadership. Sasuke flinches like he's been punched, even though he came here expecting it. Hearing it from a stranger makes it sharper, makes it feel like betrayal has teeth. Naruto's jaw tightens so hard it hurts. The man continues, voice gentle like poison. Itachi was loyal, he says. He carried the burden so the village could keep smiling. And in return, they branded him a traitor and left you to rot. Sasuke's breath shakes. Who? He whispers. Who ordered it? The man pauses, savoring the moment. Danzo, he says. Naruto's blood flashes hot. The name in a stranger's mouth feels like a match dropped on gasoline. Sasuke's chakra spikes so violently the air shivers. Sasuke's voice breaks into a snarl. Danzo, he repeats. Danzo. Naruto steps forward instantly and stops himself again. Because if he charges now, Sasuke will see it as proof. Proof that Naruto was hiding it. Proof that Naruto is part of the lie. Naruto forces himself to breathe. The man keeps talking, pushing deeper. And the elders, he adds. Homura, Koharu, even the third Hokage allowed it. He tilts his head slightly. Your entire village benefited from your clan's destruction. Sasuke's hands tremble. Tears don't fall. Rage burns too hot for tears. Naruto feels something sick in his chest. The masked man is telling the truth, but shaping it into a weapon, sharpening it into a single direction. Revenge, leave, burn, Konoha. Sasuke's voice is shaking, broken. Why, he whispers. Why would they? The man's voice is smooth. Because they feared your clan, he says. Because they feared power they couldn't control. He steps closer, voice low. And because fear always wins when cowards rule. Sasuke's breath stutters, and Naruto sees it. The moment Sasuke's mind tries to simplify the world into targets, into names, into things he can kill so he doesn't have to feel helpless. The man offers the next step like a gift. Come with me, he says. I will show you Itachi. I will show you the truth behind Akatsuki. I will show you how to take revenge the correct way. Sasuke's head lifts slowly. Itachi, he whispers, like the name is a knife and a wound at the same time. Naruto can't wait anymore. He steps out of the trees. His presence hits the ruins like a wave. AMBU shift with him, shadows spreading into a silent ring. Naruto walks forward openly now, cloak flaring slightly, eyes cold. He stops at the edge of the stone circle and looks at Sasuke first. Sasuke, Naruto says quietly. Sasuke whips around, eyes blazing. You followed me, he snarls. Naruto nods once. Yes, he says, because you're not walking into the dark alone. Sasuke's laugh is bitter. So you were hiding it, Sasuke spits. You knew. You knew about Danzo. Naruto's voice is steady. I knew enough to suspect, he says. I confirmed more tonight. His gaze hardens. And I was going to tell you. Not like this, not from him. The masked man chuckles softly. How touching, he murmurs. The Hokage playing hero. Naruto's gaze slides to him, cold. You, Naruto says, state your real name. The man's eye gleams. Names, he says softly, are less important than results. Naruto's voice hardens. Then here's a result, he says. You don't get Sasuke. The man chuckles. I already have him, he replies calmly. Not by force, by truth. Naruto's jaw tightens. Truth without context is manipulation, Naruto says. Sasuke's voice snaps. Context? He snarls. My family is dead. What context makes that okay? Naruto's eyes lock on Sasuke, and for a moment his voice softens. Not gentle, but human. Nothing makes it okay, Naruto says. Nothing. And you have every right to be angry. His voice hardens again. But you don't have the right to let this stranger weaponize you and turn you into another missing nin story. Sasuke trembles, rage and grief twisting. You're protecting them, he spits. Naruto shakes his head once. I'm protecting you, he says. And I'm protecting the village from repeating the same cycle. The masked man steps forward slightly, voice low. Cycle, he murmurs. You can't break cycles with speeches, Hokage. You break them with blood. Naruto's eyes go cold. Then you'll be disappointed, he says. The man's gaze slides to Sasuke. Come, he says softly. Now. Sasuke's feet shift a fraction. Naruto's chest tightens. He raises his voice just enough to cut clean. Sasuke, he says. If you take one step toward him, you are choosing to be someone else's weapon. Is that what you want? Sasuke freezes. His breath shakes. His eyes flick between Naruto and the masked man, like he's standing at the edge of two cliffs. The masked man's voice turns smooth, persuasive. He will never give you justice, he says to Sasuke. He will bury the truth in paperwork and politics. I will give you action. Naruto's gaze stays on Sasuke, steady. I will give you justice, Naruto says. But justice isn't murder. Justice is dismantling the people who did this without becoming them. Sasuke's jaw trembles. How? he whispers, voice cracking. Naruto answers instantly. Danzo will be arrested, Naruto says, tonight, in front of the village, with proof. His eyes harden, and if anyone tries to stop it, they answer to me. The masked man chuckles softly. Bold promise, he says. Do you think you can arrest the man who has been running your village from shadows for decades? Naruto's voice is steel. Yes, he says, because I'm not Hiruzen. The words land heavy, even for Naruto. Even he feels the bite of them. Sasuke's breath catches. The promise is dangerous. It's also the only thing strong enough to pull him back from the edge. The masked man's eye narrows. For the first time, irritation surfaces. Naruto is offering Sasuke something immediate, something tangible. That steals recruitment momentum. The masked man's voice turns colder. If you fail, he says softly, Sasuke will come to me anyway. Naruto doesn't flinch. Then I won't fail, he says. The masked man sighs almost theatrically, as if disappointed. Very well, he murmurs. I will allow you this attempt. He steps back, body blurring slightly, reality bending around him. Naruto's chakra tightens, ready, but he doesn't strike. He knows blind aggression is useless here. The masked man's voice drifts as he fades. Sasuke, he says softly, you know where to find me when you're ready to stop pretending this village can be redeemed. Then he vanishes into the night like a thought dissolving. Silence crashes down. Sasuke stands shaking, fists clenched so tight his nails bite into his palms. Naruto steps forward slowly, careful, like approaching a wounded animal. Sasuke, Naruto says quietly. Sasuke's voice breaks, raw. If you lie, he whispers, I'll kill you too. Naruto nods once, accepting the weight. Fair, he says. A&BU tighten in around Sasuke, not as enemies, but as containment. Naruto gestures once. We're going home, he orders. Sasuke doesn't resist. Not because he's calm, because he's empty. The rage is still there, but it has nowhere to go yet. Naruto moves with him, fast, and the return trip feels like carrying a bomb through a village made of paper. Once per part, one mid-roll re-engagement line. If you're still with fanfics in a nutshell, this is where the story turns, because Naruto just promised to arrest Danzo, and promises like that start wars. They reach Konoha before dawn. The gate guards stiffen when they see Naruto return with Sasuke and A&BU surrounding them. Naruto doesn't stop to explain. He moves straight to the tower, and by the time the first light touches the rooftops, Shikaku has already begun mobilizing loyal jonin. Inoichi is preparing mind walk verification. Ibiki is preparing detention protocol. Tsunade is in the hospital wing, ready to patch whatever breaks. Naruto stands in the Hokage office and looks at Sasuke, who sits rigid in the chair across from him, eyes hollow, Sharingan faded but the pain still burning behind them. Naruto's voice is calm, brutal. You're going to watch, he says. You're going to see what justice looks like when it doesn't hide. Sasuke's voice is a whisper. And if you fail, Naruto's eyes harden. Then you can leave, he says. But not before you see who actually did this. Sasuke's jaw trembles, hatred trembling behind his eyes. He nods once, barely. Naruto turns toward the door where A&BU wait. He doesn't hesitate. Bring Danzo, Naruto orders. And somewhere in the shadows of the village, the old man who built a kingdom in darkness feels the light coming for him at last. The order leaves Naruto's mouth like a blade leaving a sheath, clean and irreversible. Bring Danzo. The A&BU don't hesitate. Two vanish instantly, shadows peeling off the wall and slipping into the waking village. Naruto stays standing behind the Hokage desk, not because he needs to loom, but because sitting would look like weakness right now. Across from him, Sasuke sits rigid in the chair, hands clenched, eyes hollow with a rage that still hasn't found its target. Every few seconds, Sasuke's gaze flicks to the door, like he expects Danzo to walk in, smiling, cane tapping, and call all of this a misunderstanding. Naruto doesn't let him fall into that fantasy. You're going to hear everything, Naruto says, voice steady, and you're going to see who tries to lie. Sasuke's voice is rough. If he lies, Sasuke whispers, I'll... Naruto cuts him off without raising his voice. You'll do nothing, he says. Not while I'm standing in the room. You want to kill? You can start by killing the part of you that lets strangers steer you. Sasuke flinches as if Naruto slapped him. His jaw tightens. He doesn't argue. He can't. His anger is too sharp to shape into words. Outside, Konoha is waking. Birds, footsteps, the distant clatter of stalls being opened. A normal morning, pretending it doesn't know it's about to become a turning point. Shikaku steps into the office like a man walking into a battlefield. Inoichi follows, eyes sharp, shoulders tense. Ibiki is behind them, face unreadable and already tired, like he's been doing this job for 100 years. We have partial documentation, Shikaku says quietly. Old route mission slips, redacted council notes, enough to establish pattern. enough to show intent. His gaze flicks to Sasuke for a fraction of a second. Not enough to soothe him. Sasuke's lips peel back in a silent snarl. Naruto keeps his voice controlled. Then we don't soothe, Naruto says. We clarify, we expose, we remove the knife. Inoichi nods once. Mindwalk verification is ready, he says. If Danzo tries to twist language, we can confirm truth markers. Ibiki's voice is low. And if he refuses? He asks. Naruto's eyes harden. Then he refuses in chains, Naruto says. A pause. Shikaku studies Naruto, measuring him, then nods, satisfied. We should do this publicly, Shikaku says. If you arrest him in the shadows, he becomes a martyr to the paranoid. He gestures slightly. Bring him to the council chamber, bring witnesses, let the village see the end of his era. Naruto's jaw tightens. He knows Shikaku is right. Danzo thrives in fog. The only way to kill fog is light. Do it, Naruto says. Full chamber, clan heads, jonin captains, elders. He looks at Ibiki, and prepare a secure holding cell that doesn't belong to Root. Ibiki's mouth twitches faintly. Already did, he says. Sasuke's voice is a rasp. He's going to deny it, he says. Naruto turns to him, eyes steady. Then we make denial expensive, Naruto replies. And if he tries to blame Itachi, we shut that down too. Sasuke's breathing turns ragged at the name, but he doesn't explode. Not yet. Naruto counts that as a small victory. An ANBU appears at the door without knocking, mask angled down. Hokage-sama, the ANBU reports. Danzo is en route. He requested to bring 2 aides. Naruto's voice is cold. Denied, he says instantly. The ANBU nods. Understood. He is displeased. Naruto leans forward slightly, voice like stone. Good, he says. Let him feel what it's like to be denied. The ANBU vanishes. The next minutes stretch like wire. Sasuke's knee bounces once, then stops. His hands tremble. Inoichi watches him with the same caution he'd use around a volatile jutsu. Shikaku stays calm, but Naruto sees the tension in his eyes. This is bigger than Danzo. This is the old village fighting the new village inside the same walls. Once per part, one mid-roll re-engagement line, stay with fanfics in a nutshell. Because what happens next decides whether Konoha becomes a home again or a weapon factory with a pretty flag. They move to the council chamber as the sun crawls higher. The corridors feel too quiet. Shinobi step aside as Naruto passes, bowing quickly, eyes flicking to Sasuke with confusion and fear. News spreads faster than kunai. By the time they reach the chamber doors, the room is already filling. Clan heads, jonin captains, elders, advisors, and ANBU lining the walls like silent judges. Homura and Koharu are there, stiff as statues, faces tight. Hiyashi Hyuga sits with perfect posture, expression unreadable. Shikaku takes a position near Naruto, calm anchor. Inoichi stands near the side, ready. Ibiki watches the doors like a predator waiting for prey. Naruto walks to the head seat and doesn't sit. He stands behind it, hands resting lightly on the backrest, gaze sweeping the room. When his eyes land on the elders, he feels their discomfort like heat. This is not a debate, Naruto says, voice carrying cleanly. This is a hearing. Murmurs ripple. The doors open. Danzo Shimura enters. He moves slowly, cane tapping, posture controlled. 2 ANBU flank him, hands near his elbows, not yet gripping, but close enough to make the message clear. You are not in charge here. Danzo's visible eye scans the room, measuring reactions. He looks at Naruto and offers a thin smile that doesn't reach his face. Hokage-sama, Danzo says smoothly. I was informed you wish to speak. Naruto doesn't return the smile. You know why you're here, Naruto says. Danzo's eye narrows slightly. If this is about security protocols, Danzo begins. Naruto cuts him off with a single raised hand. No, Naruto says. This is about the Uchiha. The room tightens instantly. Some people inhale sharply. Some glance toward Sasuke, who stands near Naruto, shoulders rigid, eyes dark. Danzo's expression doesn't change much, but his cane tap slows. The Uchiha, he repeats softly. A sensitive subject. Naruto's voice is cold. Not sensitive, he says. Criminal. Danzo's smile thins. Careful, he murmurs. Accusations of that magnitude. Naruto slams a scroll onto the table between them with a sharp crack. The sound cuts through the chamber like thunder. This is a record fragment, Naruto says. Root logistical movement connected to the Uchiha incident. Redacted, but consistent with your signature Skezian patterns. Danzo's eye flicks to the scroll, then back to Naruto. Fabrication, he says calmly. Naruto's gaze hardens. This is why Inoichi is here, Naruto says. Because you can't lie your way out of a mind. Inoichi steps forward slightly, voice controlled. Danzo-sama, he says, I will ask you direct questions. If you refuse, your refusal will be noted. Danzo's eye narrows. Mind techniques used in a political setting, he murmurs. How crude. Naruto's voice is sharp. This isn't politics, he says. It's accountability. Sasuke's breath shakes beside Naruto. Naruto feels it. He doesn't look away from Danzo. Inoichi begins. Did you participate in planning the containment and elimination of the Uchiha clan? He asks. Danzo's mouth twitches. I acted for village stability, he says carefully. Naruto's eyes go cold. That's not an answer, Naruto says. Inoichi's gaze tightens. Yes or no, he repeats. Danzo exhales softly, a performance of patience. I advised, he says, as any responsible elder would. Sasuke's hands tremble. Advised, Sasuke whispers, voice cracking. You advised my family's murder. Danzo's gaze flicks to Sasuke. Cool. Your family, Danzo says, was preparing rebellion. The words hit like poison. Sasuke lunges half a step. Naruto's hand snaps out and grips Sasuke's forearm like a vice, stopping him cold. Naruto doesn't even look at Sasuke. His eyes stay on Danzo, voice lethal. Say it again, Naruto says quietly. Danzo's visible eye narrows. Truth is uncomfortable, he replies. Naruto's grip tightens on Sasuke's arm. Truth, Naruto says, doesn't include excuses that justify slaughter. Homura clears his throat, voice strained. Hokage-sama, he begins, the village faced. Naruto's head turns slightly, gaze slicing. Homura stops talking mid-breath. Naruto looks back at Danzo. Did you order Itachi Uchiha to eliminate his clan? Naruto asks. Danzo's silence is too long. Koharu's fingers tighten on the armrest of her chair. Danzo finally speaks, voice smooth. Itachi chose, he says. He was loyal. He did what was necessary. Sasuke's breath turns ragged. Necessary, he repeats, and the word sounds like it's tearing him open. Naruto's voice snaps. Answer the question, he says. Did you order him? Danzo's smile thins. Orders, he murmurs, are rarely spoken aloud. Naruto's eyes narrow. That's a yes, Naruto says. Danzo's eye glints. You have no written order, he says softly. No signature, no sealed decree. Naruto's voice is cold. Because you hide behind deniability like a coward, he says. A murmur ripples through the room, shock at the language, and something else, relief that someone finally said it. Danzo's cane taps once. You insult an elder, he says. Naruto's gaze turns to steel. I'm indicting a criminal, he replies. Inoichi steps forward, voice hardening. Danzo-sama, he says, I'm going to proceed with mind verification. If you resist, that will be treated as obstruction. Danzo's eye narrows. You overstep, he says. Naruto's voice is flat. Do it, he orders. Inoichi moves, hands rising. Chakra threads shimmer faintly. Danzo's body tenses, and for a moment Naruto feels the room hold its breath. If Danzo has a countermeasure, this is where he uses it. If he has hidden operatives, this is where they strike. Danzo doesn't attack, he simply smiles. Inoichi's technique presses in. Danzo's visible eye tightens, muscles in his jaw flexing. Naruto watches closely, looking for any crack. Inoichi's face shifts slightly, then hardens. He's shielding, Inoichi says through clenched teeth, but I'm getting markers. Intent, confirmation. Sasuke's voice is shaking. Say it, he whispers. Inoichi inhales sharply, then speaks, voice steady. Danzo is directly tied to the Uchiha operation, he says. He acknowledges involvement. He acknowledges coercion. He acknowledges removal of witnesses. Koharu flinches. Homura's face strains. Hayashi's eyes narrow slightly, expression tightening like a blade being drawn. Sasuke's breath turns into a low broken sound, somewhere between a laugh and a sob. You, he whispers, staring at Danzo like he's staring at a disease. Danzo's smile remains thin. For the village, he murmurs, as if repeating a prayer. Naruto's voice drops into something absolute. Danzo Shimura, Naruto says, you are relieved of all authority. You are under arrest for conspiracy, unlawful operations, and crimes against the village. Danzo's visible eye sharpens. You cannot. Naruto cuts him off, voice like iron. I can, he says, because I'm Hokage. A and Bu step forward instantly, hands gripping Danzo's arms. Danzo's cane clatters to the floor. The sound echoes. For a split second, Danzo looks genuinely offended, as if the universe violated him. Then his expression turns cold. You think this ends it? He murmurs. You think removing me removes the darkness? Naruto leans slightly forward, voice low enough to feel personal. No, Naruto says, but it removes you. Danzo's eye flicks to Sasuke, and for the first time his calm looks like it has teeth. Uchiha boy, Danzo says softly, your brother killed them. He's the hand. Sasuke's chakra spikes, violent. Naruto's hand tightens again on Sasuke's arm. Naruto speaks before Sasuke can explode. And you were the knife at his back, Naruto says, voice cold. Don't pretend you're innocent because you made someone else pull the trigger. Danzo's smile turns cruel. If you expose too much, he murmurs, you will fracture the village, people will panic, trust will collapse, the masked man will win. Naruto's eyes narrow, a cold realization creeping in. Danzo knows about the masked man, or suspects. Either way, he's still trying to steer the narrative. Naruto's voice stays steady. Trust built on lies deserves to collapse, he says. We rebuild with truth. Danzo's eye glints. And if you cannot rebuild fast enough, he asks. Naruto doesn't answer him with words. He answers by turning his head slightly and speaking to the room. This is not the end of the hearing, Naruto says, voice carrying. It's the start of cleansing the rot. The elders will remain available for questioning. ROOT will be dismantled and restructured under transparent oversight. Any operative involved in illegal detention will be arrested. Homura stiffens. Koharu's lips press into a thin line. Naruto continues, voice hard. Konoha will no longer sacrifice its people in the dark and call it protection. That era is over. Somewhere in the chamber, someone exhales like they've been holding their breath for years. Danzo is dragged toward the doors. He doesn't struggle. He simply watches Naruto, eyes cold, and speaks one last time as he's pulled away. The shinobi world eats idealists, he murmurs. It always has. Naruto's reply is quiet, brutal. Then I'll teach it to choke, he says. The doors close. Silence floods the room. Naruto finally turns fully towards Sasuke. Sasuke is trembling, his face is pale, his eyes are wet but furious. It looks like his soul is trying to decide whether to burn or break. Naruto speaks carefully, voice steady. You wanted names, he says. You got them. Sasuke's voice is a whisper. They're still here, he says, gaze flicking toward Homura and Koharu. They're still sitting. Naruto nods once. And they will answer, he says. But not with your knife, with mine, with law, with exposure. Sasuke's breath shakes. Law didn't save my family, he whispers. Naruto's eyes harden. No, he says. People failed your family, and I'm going to make sure people can't hide behind power like that again. Sasuke looks at Naruto like he's trying to find the lie. And Itachi? Sasuke asks, voice cracking. Was he? Naruto pauses. The truth here is sharp enough to cut both of them. Naruto's voice is quiet. Your brother was forced into an impossible choice, Naruto says. He chose a path that saved the village from civil war. It also destroyed you. Both things can be true. Naruto's gaze stays steady, and whoever used him will pay. Sasuke's jaw trembles. Rage rises. Grief rises. Then something else rises too. Confusion. Because if Itachi was used, then the world isn't as simple as Sasuke's hatred demanded. Sasuke turns away sharply, breathing ragged. I still want him, Sasuke says, voice low. I still want to face him. Naruto nods once. You will, he says, but not as someone's puppet, and not alone. Sasuke's gaze snaps back. You'll let me go? He demands. Naruto's voice is firm. When you're ready, he says. When we have intelligence. When you're not running on a stranger's timetable. He pauses. And when you understand what you're actually chasing. Sasuke's breath shudders. He doesn't agree. He doesn't refuse. He's too raw for decisions. Naruto turns back to the room. This hearing is adjourned, he says, for now. His gaze sweeps across the clan heads and elders like a warning. No one leaves the village without clearance. Any attempt to obstruct this process will be treated as treason. The room begins to move, slowly, carefully. People file out with expressions that range from stunned to furious to quietly relieved. Shikaku steps close to Naruto as the chamber empties. You just made enemies, he murmurs. Naruto's voice is calm. They were already enemies, he replies. Inoichi exhales. The masked man will react, he says. He wanted Sasuke. He'll try again. Naruto nods once, eyes hard. Let him, he says. Now he knows the village isn't asleep. Obiki's voice is low. Danzo has operatives, he warns. They'll scatter, hide, retaliate. Naruto's gaze turns to steel. Then we hunt, he says. Quietly. Precisely. Shizune appears at the chamber door, face pale. Tsunade-sama wants you at the hospital, she says. Kakashi, Naruto's blood tightens. What happened? He asks sharply. Shizune shakes her head quickly. He woke, she says. He's weak, but awake. Naruto exhales, relief hitting like a wave he can't fully enjoy. He moves fast to the hospital. Sasuke follows without being told, like his feet no longer belong entirely to him. A and BU trail at a respectful distance, not cages now, guards. The hospital corridors are quiet, the kind of quiet that holds healing in its palms. Naruto reaches Kakashi's room and steps inside. Kakashi is propped slightly against pillows, pale but conscious. His single visible eye opens a fraction more when Naruto enters. The other eye remains covered, bandaged, protected. Kakashi's voice is rough, dry. "Hokage-sama," he murmurs, and the honorific sounds like a joke and a burden at once. Naruto steps close, throat tight. "Idiot," Naruto says softly. "You scared the hell out of me." Kakashi's eye crinkles faintly. "That's my job," he whispers. Tsunade stands at the side, arms folded, expression severe but satisfied. "He'll live," she says. "He'll complain. He'll pretend he was never in danger. But he'll live." Naruto nods once, grateful without saying it out loud. Then Kakashi's gaze shifts slightly, landing on Sasuke standing near the doorway. Sasuke freezes. Kakashi's eye softens, and in that softness there is apology, guilt, affection, and the heavy weight of all the things Kakashi never told him. "Sasuke," Kakashi murmurs. Sasuke's voice is a tight whisper. "Sensei," he says. Silence stretches between them like a bridge made of broken glass. Kakashi's voice is rough. "I'm sorry," he whispers. Sasuke's jaw trembles. The anger in him flares, then falters. "For what?" Sasuke demands, and the question is too big, too loaded. Kakashi exhales slowly. "For not protecting you from what the village did," Kakashi says. "For not telling you sooner." His eye tightens. "For thinking silence would hurt less." Sasuke's breath shakes. His fists clench. The rage wants to be sharp again. But Kakashi looks too tired to be an enemy. Too human. Too honest. Sasuke's voice cracks. "I don't know what to do," he whispers. Naruto steps slightly closer, voice steady. "Then you don't do anything alone," Naruto says. "You train, you recover, you learn. And when we move with purpose." Sasuke stares at Naruto, and for a moment there's no hatred in his eyes, just exhausted distrust trying to decide if it can evolve into something else. Sasuke finally nods once, not agreement, not forgiveness, but acceptance of one thing: he's still here. Outside the room, the world continues. Missions, patrols, people whispering about Danzo's arrest like it's a myth, ROO operatives hiding like rats in walls, the masked man somewhere beyond borders, recalculating. Naruto stands in the hallway after leaving Kakashi's room, cloak heavy on his shoulders, and feels the full weight of what he's done. He didn't just arrest Danzo. He challenged a century of shinobi culture that treats people like disposable weapons. He opened a wound the village has kept bandaged for years. It will bleed. But bleeding means it can heal. Tsunade steps beside him, eyes sharp. "You're going to be hated," she says bluntly. Naruto doesn't look away from the corridor's end. "I've been hated before," he says. Tsunade's mouth twitches, almost amused. "This is different," she says. "This hate comes from people with paperwork and knives." Naruto's voice is calm. "Then I'll sharpen my paperwork," he replies, "and I'll keep my knives pointed outward." Tsunade studies him, then exhales. "You're still an idiot," she mutters. Naruto glances at her. "You came back," he says simply. Tsunade's gaze tightens, and for a moment she looks like she might snap. Then she looks away, voice rough. "Someone had to stop you from getting everyone killed," she mutters. Naruto's lips twitch. "Welcome home," he says. Night falls. Konoha's lanterns glow like a calm lie. Naruto sits alone in his office later, staring at the Hokage hat on the desk. It looks the same as always. But now it feels like an agreement with the whole village. "I will carry you even when you fight me." An ANBU appears silently. "Hokage-sama," the ANBU reports. "Danzo is secured. Route movement detected in 3 sectors. Shikagu-sama is coordinating capture. No civilian harm so far." Naruto nods once. "Keep it quiet," he says. "No public executions, no spectacles. We dismantle, we don't terrorize." The ANBU nods and vanishes. Naruto stands and walks to the window. He looks out at the village rooftops under moonlight, and his eyes flick toward the Uchiha compound in the distance, a place that once held laughter. Now, it holds echoes. Somewhere out there, Sasuke is awake, staring at his ceiling, mind burning, but not gone. Somewhere beyond the border, a masked man watches Konoha like a chessboard and realizes his game just got harder. Naruto closes his eyes for a second and breathes. He doesn't pretend everything is fixed. He doesn't pretend Danzo's arrest erases the dead. He doesn't pretend Sasuke's pain will vanish because the truth finally has a shape. But he does know this. The village is no longer allowed to sacrifice children and call it peace. That rule changes everything. Naruto turns away from the window and steps back toward his desk. He touches the Hokage hat lightly, not reverently, but like a warrior checking armor. Then he sits, picks up a pen, and begins rewriting the village with the same stubbornness he used to survive being alone. Because tomorrow will come no matter what, and this time Konoha will meet it with its eyes open. If you enjoyed this fanfics in a nutshell recap, hit like, drop a comment with what story you want next, and subscribe for more cinematic fanfic breakdowns.